But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With the rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please, please help me!
Won't let it happen. That's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It is Wednesday night, and that's one of the days we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And what are all those things that are forbidden, that are taboo? You know what they are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. This show is live. This show has always been live. This show will always be live. If you want to be part of the show tonight, we are taking your phone calls. We are streaming on Facebook, DLive, and YouTube. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And if you want to be part of the show, the number to call is right there on the stream, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord at troubledminds.org. That's the official website of the show. And the Discord link is right on top. You cannot miss it. Troubled Minds, it's like the first thing you see. There's a phone number and there is a Discord link, and that's pretty much what you need right there, right on top. Click the Discord. Discord is a chat client. It's a voice client. It's fantastic. It can the youngsters are using it to play video games and communicate with each other. Us old-timers or middle-timers or whatever you want to call us, boomers, as it were. I hate that term, but I think that, we're using it for a talk show, and so as sort of a call-in system. So the 702 area code is Las Vegas because, of course, that's exactly where we're streaming from, Las Vegas. And if you don't like the long distance area code, which I know we have a lot of internationals listening, we got people in Singapore, we've got people in Australia, we've got people in Israel, we've got people in the United Kingdom, old Great Britain, as it were, and all over the world, Canada, Mexico, you name it. We got people everywhere. So to be a little more international, let's say, Discord is perfect because it's free and you can connect from anywhere in the world. So as long as you have an internet connection and it's a stable internet connection, your Discord's good. You're able to connect to the show and be part of it. And fantastic stuff. So one more time, the phone number is 702-957-1037. TroubledMinds.org is the official website. Phone number and Discord link are on the website. You can't miss it. Can't miss it. Also, we have another Discord rolling. Lots of smart people over there. Fantastic community at the Fringe FM. Go to fringe.fm/chat and join that Discord. I'm watching all of it. I'm trying to watch all of it. I've got all these chats up, and I'm trying to do 7 things at once. So forgive me if I miss something, but I do my best and usually catch most of it. So there you go. So I am reading your chat as we go and taking your phone calls. So tonight, interestingly, we have quite a bit happening this past week, right? We have last night we had a TMZ special with George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell, and talking about, of course, UFOs again, because UFOs are in the media like crazy right now. I was curious to see the show last night. We talked about how the media is responding to this UFO report that hit on this past Friday. So my speculation was that it was going to be very polarized. Either they were going to completely ignore it and try and sweep it under the rug like nothing to see here, or it was going to go gangbusters, kind of like it has, and we've got all kinds of things happening. So yes, last night we had a TMZ special. Right now, as we speak, on the Discovery Channel, there's something airing with Josh Gates and Corbell and Knapp and Jim Semivan of the Fayetteville incident fame, and also works with To the Stars Academy. So it's everybody's kind of grabbing onto this. Matter of fact, Timcast last night had Candace Owens on. Whether you like Candace Owens or not, it doesn't really matter. But they were talking about UFOs. They were talking about the Mandela effect and time travel as part, and that's right there on his title. He listed it just like that. So it seems like maybe we were ahead of the game, and everybody's trying to move into our game now, which seems strange to me, but I have a hunch that it's going to fade. It's going to fade from the news cycle, and all these things, all the coverage, all the people wanting ET to land on your lawn and say hello is going to fade because, of course, we have midterm elections on the way. And so you know how that works. They drop it. They'll drop ET like a hot potato to try and brainwash you and make you consider all these other things. So we have no Ash tonight. Usually we have Ash on Wednesday night, but we had an issue. I think it's a dust storm on Mars, and so his uplink isn't working as we would expect. So hopefully that'll clear up, and maybe he'll show up at some point tonight. But we're having technical issues, let's say. So you're stuck with just me, boring old Michael Strange. I'm sorry. I apologize for that, but we're going to have to make do. All right. So the topic tonight, before we do that, let's take a phone call. We have looks like Jack's on hold waiting, and he's been waiting since we started. So let's go to Jack. What's up, my friend? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you tonight?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing, Mike?
Oh, fantastic. Looking good, feeling good. You know how it is.
Awesome. Hey, you know what? Recently, I've been looking at the live. I've been looking at the live feeds of the moon, and I've been thinking, you know, if it's such a shooting gallery out there because you don't have an atmosphere, like say, you know, talking about the moon, it's like, ever see like captures of any kind of like explosions, like something hitting the moon. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've never seen anything hit the moon.
Yeah. Okay.
You know
yes.
what I'm saying?
Yes. So keep in mind. So we've kind of looked at this in the past a little bit, and there are craters all over the moon, right? And so there's no as far as we're aware, there's no tectonic activity, and there's nothing that'll really kind of shake those craters out, so they stay for a very long time. So the moon gets hit all the time. But the phenomenon you're talking about is they have these kind of lights popping up on the moon, right? And they say they're meteor hits, but I'm not so sure that's the case. There's been some speculation about that in the past, but I don't know a lot about it other than kind of in a cursory manner. But I'm with you. I don't believe they are all meteor hits. I think that would be because they get filmed quite often, almost all the time, right?
You know, what's kind of strange, too, is that they're talking everything about Mars, and it's like if the moon is so close, why don't we try to do something with the moon? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. No, I think that's part of it, right? Part of why the mystery is this. The official story goes something like this with the moon in particular, that we lost the political will to get up there. Once we were there a few times, it was like whatever, and nobody wanted to go back. But I think there's a mystery there, because there's certainly some value in being on the moon. There's certainly some value in maybe getting a telescope on the dark side of the moon that can look away from us without any kind of light pollution from the Earth. I think there's a lot of things that there's value in the moon
Think
for
about
sure.
it, too.
Sorry, go ahead.
China, basically said, hey, we're not going to go for the moon. We're just going to go for Mars right away, too. That makes me feel like, what the heck's going on in the moon? Where it's like, you don't have, other, countries trying to at least go for the moon if they can't go for Mars. You know what I'm saying? It makes me wonder, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, definitely. And again, it's part of the mystery. So you figure the stepping stone to Mars would be the moon. Okay, it makes sense if you can kind of build a small base up there. You're trying to launch with less gravity. If the tools are there to maybe create, and we've talked about this all the way back to episode 2, 3+ years ago on this show, we were talking about there's water up there. There's oxygen that is actually inside the rocks, inside the regolith, they call it, the moon soil. There's all kinds of things that you could actually use as resources to create rocket fuel. And so if you were going to do that, you would have a base on Mars, and then you would launch, on the moon, and you would launch from the moon to Mars, and it would be a lot less costly. In theory, but again, you first have to get there, right? And set up a base and the rest of these things. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. We got a good Carry Out Moth says this. It's called lunar transient phenomena. I looked into it, and he says they're lights that stay. So it's definitely not meteors. It's something else entirely. What that is, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, what's got you?
Mike, Can I say my 2 cents worth about the disclosure, quote unquote?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like they're gonna disclose a bunch of stuff to Congress to try to get funding for basically, and they're not gonna give us basically anything. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like the environmental stuff didn't work. That was going to be their cash grab. But instead, they're going to go for the Space Force because they're going to be like, oh, yeah, we'll have a disclosure. It's like, and it's like Congress at least will be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, we definitely need to this because, you're showing us this stuff. It's like we don't get to see that stuff because we're not, congressional people or whatever. So.
Yeah, no,
that's
I'm with
kind of
you.
my feeling about it.
I'm with you, and some people have suggested exactly the same thing, that we're looking at maybe kind of a cash grab for Space Force or for the missing trillions in the Pentagon. You're dialing numbers on your phone, sir. But okay, all right. So anything else while we got you on the phone, my friend? We're going to get going here with the topic of the show, but good call so far. Anything else on the rest of this?
Yeah. I'm sorry if the powers that be decided to press a bunch of buttons while I was on the phone.
That's all right.
That may be part of their secret code that they're trying to throw out there or whatever. So maybe anyone could translate that. They could figure out what's the codes to the secret Sasquatch bunker.
Gotcha.
And then we'll figure it out from there.
Gotcha. So that's the Morse code, the secret password to get into the bunker.
I love you, Mike.
Thanks, Jack. I appreciate the call. Thanks for the call. Thanks for listening. Great stuff. There you go. We didn't have to wait long for the first call. You see, if you call in, we got time for you. If you want to be part of the show, going to put the phone number back up. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. TroubledMinds.org is the official website. You can find the phone number and the Discord link there. All right. Good stuff. And I think that's part of this conversation as well, right? We've talked about the secret space program, and we've talked about those things even recently. constantly with the TR-3B and stuff. But you gotta ask, is there a secret base on the moon? So they could have put one on the dark side of the moon and just not told anybody, and we'd never be able to see it, right? The moon doesn't orbit like that. It's tidally locked. It's not going to go anywhere. And so without actually being able to get behind it and look to see what's back there, there could be some shenanigans happening. So like all these things are possible. And I don't know. So that's part of this conversation. That's what makes the moon kind of mysterious, in my opinion, is that we've had the access to go there, and supposedly we have not. And so, again, suspicious, right? So anyway, all right. So the topic tonight. So I was talking to Ash last night. Unfortunately, no Ash tonight, so far anyway. And it turns out that he had this theory about aliens, and not just aliens, but in particular, dark matter. And if there's some sort of correlation there or connection between, like we don't really know what dark matter is. I'll get into the actual scientific explanation here of what this is in just a couple minutes. But that was the initial theory. It's like, okay, wait. We have these huge masses of what they call dark matter out there, all right? And so we can't see them. They're not visible in any way, shape, or form through any sort of visible spectrum, okay? But it's detectable through its gravity signature, and it's considered to be sort of these huge gravitational bodies that hold galaxies and even strings of galaxies in place together, right? Sort of like a cosmic glue of sorts. And that's just a theory because nobody really knows what the hell it is. It could be that dark matter in and of itself is one of those things that's been, in particular, maybe just gravity, is that we completely misunderstand gravity on like a large scale. So like we got a pretty good handle of what it might be here on Earth, but once you start kind of branching out into different parts of the galaxy or even the universe at large, you get who knows how gravity reacts in those huge scales. So some people have speculated that dark matter itself is a gravity signature of sorts that we don't quite understand, so it would just be gravity in and of itself. Other people have suggested it's something completely different. It has nothing to do from gravity. It's its own completely separate force. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And so not only that, right? So when you think about something like dark matter in these huge chunks of space that it supposedly inhabits, you got to wonder, so what is actually out there? And in some cases, right, we've discussed in the past, let's what's up, Night Stalker, shouting out you, buddy, is that maybe in these dark matter areas we have these Lovecraftian old ones, right? Maybe these actual huge chunks of space that are considered dark matter are in some capacity an alien, maybe civilization, or maybe something of this to this effect, right? But if you go, like, I really love this theory about these primordial, basically super gods, the great old ones from Lovecraft, and that these creatures have existed for billions of years, whatever they are. I say creatures, it's probably more apt to say gods of a sort, right? Primordial gods or deities. And so as a result of that, I don't know where to go with this other than what is actually happening out there. What's happening with this dark matter, and is it related somehow to this maybe an alien sort of life form? I mean, as we've seen here on Earth, we've got extremophiles and all kinds of really weird stuff that, we maybe kind of can conjecture, use some conjecture to that on Venus there's life, because it may seem inhospitable, but there's places on Earth with extremophiles where we wouldn't expect life to be anyway. So if you can kind of extrapolate that now, but on a maybe galactic scale, what exactly is this dark matter? And that's kind of what we're looking at tonight. Does it have something to do with like an alien presence somehow, like a type 3 civilization or a type 2 civilization, something like this, and they're out there maybe tinkering with the galaxies at large? I don't know. I don't know. Nobody really knows. What's up, Anton says the Watchers in the chat, the Watchers. And I think that's kind of right. I think maybe of course there are things out there that we don't know what they are. And when they're so huge like this, it expands my mind anyway. So, okay, so let's look at what actually dark matter is, right? According to science, right? Now this is straight from NASA.gov. And I'll tell you why we're talking about dark matter. There's an actual article that came out recently as well that we talked about on the news show. But so dark matter is this, right? It says dark matter may not, this is from nasa.gov. I'm going to link this to all the chats and you guys can check it out. As usual, I want you to always check my sources because I am also susceptible to falling for propaganda, okay? So that's why I always link my sources. If it's propaganda, fine. That's okay. I'm all right with that because 98% of things out there is probably propaganda now. But here we go. This is from nasa.gov. So dark matter may not be made up of the matter we are familiar with at all. The matter that makes up dark matter could be different. It may be filled with particles predicted by theory, but that scientists are yet to observe. And because scientists can't see dark matter directly, they have found other ways to investigate it. Now, we can use indirect ways to study things like looking at a shadow and making an educated guess about what's casting the shadow. One way scientists indirectly study dark matter is by using gravitational lensing, which of course we've talked about, right? We've talked about gravitational lensing with all kinds of long time ago, basically, but what that means is that you're looking at something around the curvature of a star or something, right? Some massive actual gravitational body out there, whether it's a star or a really large planet, something like this, and it gets in the way of your telescope, and the light bends around it, creating this effect that's kind of like a lens effect, kind of giving you a little bit of a light distortion where you can see further. It's kind of like using your telescope as a leapfrog and being able to see beyond the planet. So you, of course, you have to take into account the curvature of the light around the gravitational body and whatnot. But it allows us to see with our technology into the very, very depths of the early universe, which is pretty amazing stuff. But anyway, so part of this again, so I don't know, like it is one of those things. Dark matter is one of those things that they say it exists, okay? And again, you can't actually see it. It's one of those sort of, we know it's there, sort of like the Plato in the cave and the shadow on the wall type of thing, right? We can infer it's there based on its signature, that type of thing. Maybe that wasn't the best analogy there. But we can't see it. We don't know exactly what it is. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. What are your theories about this? Do you think it is just something maybe like gravity acting on maybe a galactic scale, or do you think it's something else entirely? So as we go tonight, we'll discuss that. We'll discuss maybe think about it this way. What if dark matter is a portal system of sorts, and so you're able to jump in at one particular point, and it's like a web, like you would expect from these particular galaxies that are held in place by this huge galactic web, and you can jump through these dark matter areas with who knows, portal technology or whatever else, or is it some kind of alien Lovecraftian old one? I don't know. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. We've got some stuff to really dig into, and the thing that got me started on this, and Ash and I talking about this last night, was there's a article that came out recently, and this is from scientifictimes.com, and it's as simple as this: that we used to believe that in the center of the Milky Way galaxy, that's our home galaxy here, there was a supermassive black hole named Sagittarius A. Well, this article is now suggesting, and this is all recent, this is this month, that instead of a supermassive black hole at the heart of our Milky Way galaxy, instead of that, they're now considering that it may not be that at all, and it may just be a huge mass or chunk of dark matter instead. And so that right there kind of makes you scratch your head as one of those things that make you go, you know what I'm saying? So what is this stuff? I have no idea, and love to hear your theories on this. Do you think it has anything to do with maybe alien travel or exotic propulsion or any of the rest of this stuff? And that's what's on deck tonight. It'd be a little better if we had Ash to tell us about the Martian tech, but, well, what can you do? Sometimes things don't work out the way you plan. The best laid plans of mice and men, they say. But in any case, that's what's on deck tonight. So we are talking about aliens, but more of in a well, I guess we're always talking about aliens in more of a actual theory craft capacity, let's say. But that's what's on deck. What do you think about this dark matter? Do you think it has anything to do with aliens? Or do you think, Michael Strange, damn it, much ado about nothing, GTFO, it's all good? I'm taking all of those thoughts because, well, that's what we do. And if you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. More after the break. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We are streaming live on Facebook, DLive, and YouTube. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We're taking your phone calls tonight. As always, love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think dark matter is? We had some interesting concepts already in the chat, which is what I love to see. People thinking outside the box, people thinking outside our galactic, what would you call it? Our galactic presence? I don't know. Sometimes the words come hard, sometimes they come easy. But in any case, what we're looking at tonight is this theory of dark matter and what it means, not just to us, of course, and the gravity signatures and the rest of the galactic universe, as it were, but is there some sort of alien maybe presence with this? Is there some sort of a concoction of maybe, like I said, exotic propulsion? We've heard stories in the past of Bob Lazar talking about something like element 115, things like this, right? Maybe this this stuff that's out there in space is some sort of a travel network. That's kind of my working theory at this point, just kind of extrapolating some, kind of thinking in terms of like a larger net of particular galaxies, and you being able to harness that energy or that gravity signature somehow to maybe travel through one point to another point. But anyway, just the musings of a knucklehead on the internet. But I don't know. I think there's good stuff here. But what did get us started on this was exactly this article here. Kind of back to this for just a second. That for a very long time we've actually, like I was saying just before we took the break, we've considered. In astronomy circles, right, in academia and all this stuff, is that we've considered that at the center of the Milky Way galaxy, there's a huge supermassive black hole that goes by the name Sagittarius A. All right, but now recently they've rethought this as of this month, because there are things you can see with a black hole, particularly, right? You can't see past the event horizon, and it's black holes notoriously do not allow light to escape past that event horizon, which means if you're able to observe a black hole directly, it's nothing but darkness. So the way they infer it being there is a couple ways. Number one is the gravity signature, of course, which is doing its best to hold the galaxy together, right? And so they say it's kind of held in place by this huge gravitational signature of the supermassive black hole at the center. But, however, let's read some of this. This is, again, from ScienceTimes.com, and they're starting to rethink this. And not just rethink this, it's... If you kind of turn the galaxy on its head, this is one way to really do it, because if we don't know what dark matter really is, and we thought it was always a supermassive black hole in the center, then what is really going on with this? Oh, I'm sorry. I was explaining the ways they can see a black hole. The other way, so if you actually, they know it from the gravitational signature, and then number two, they know because the black hole seems to tear things apart, right? As it brings stars and planets and gases into its event horizon. I've heard it described by astronomers as it sort of eats these things, but in a very very sloppy way, and they described it as sort of like a cosmic cookie monster, right? And you guys know how anybody that's familiar with the Sesame Street and how Cookie Monster eats the cookies, right? They pour the cookies on him, and he just kind of like smashes them around, and like, you know, it's like 2% of the cookies actually get in his mouth, but all the cookies end up everywhere because he just busted them up into a ton of pieces. And they say that is actually how a black hole sort of consumes things, because it literally just tears them apart as they come closer and closer into its gravity well and into that into the event horizon. So it'll rip things apart and just kind of spew it back out. And so that's the other way they're able to detect these black holes or supermassive black holes, right? And so in particular, you get to see these things popping, like kind of like a galactic fireworks show of sorts, because when it rips apart a sun, it consumes a little bit of it, but it just destroys the sun and shreds it outward, and that's how they see, that's how they detect, or they're able to actually lens these black holes. Anyway, that's from what I gather. Like I said, if I'm wrong and you're an astronomer, then call me, because I'd love to hear the main details, because as we know, academia does its thing and things change so quickly. But yeah, so that's what's going on tonight. That's what we're talking about. But what do you think? What are your theories on this this dark matter? And is it interesting? So let me just read a little bit of this. So researchers from the International Center for Relativistic Astrophysics have found hints that Sagittarius A, that supermassive black hole sitting in the middle of our own galaxy, might not be a black hole after all, but an incredibly large mass of dark matter. In the report titled Hinting a Dark Matter Nature of Sagittarius A via the S stars, researchers present evidence of why this is so and how the new theory holds up against tests. And again, we can get into this a little bit into the weeds in this, because it's a fantastic article, and they go into this in depth and link to the scientific paper and all the rest of this stuff. But for us layperson types that are, don't have giant telescopes and $1 million budgets type of situation, what do you think this is? Do you think there's something relevant here to consider and talk about, especially now that they're saying the supermassive black hole Sagittarius A may not even be a black hole at all? It just may be a huge clump of dark matter. So interesting. I thought that was pretty fantastic. And then of course, kind of talking shop with Ash a little bit last night, and he had some alien hypothesis with this. So unfortunately we don't have Ash, but I can fill in, and you guys can fill in, and maybe let's fill in the gaps together. So let's go. Speaking of that, if you want to be part of the show at any point tonight, give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. TroubledMinds.org is the official website. Then let's go to Robert. What's up? Robert in Pennsylvania. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you tonight, my friend?
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing very well. What are your thoughts on this dark matter stuff?
Well, I got two. And both of them are kind of novelty, I guess. But the first one, anybody that's familiar with the Superman comics, all right, and the Phantom Zone. Are you familiar with that, Michael?
The Phantom Zone, no. That's not the trap. Okay. The trap they put the
in the Superman.
Go ahead.
In the Superman comics, all the villains of the universe, the hard criminals, the real monsters, they would be sent to something called the Phantom Zone. All right, where they, it's like a prison. They can see the world. They can see what's going on outside the prison, but they can never get out of it. All right. I'm sure that there's plenty of your listeners here who are familiar with that Phantom Zone in the Superman comics. And the only reason I bring it up is because so many things that were in those comics back in the day have proved to be prescient. A lot of that stuff, a lot of those theories came to fruition in theory. Anyway, the second thing I think it might be is where we go when we die. All right? If this is an artificial reality, all right, then there must be a real reality. All right? And the dark matter is the portals we go through when we die to the real reality.
Like sort of a transitionary something, like so maybe back to
everybody thinks about heavenly lights and white lights and everything, but they would never think that something really dark in the universe could be the porthole to heaven.
That could be.
And that what we really are, all right, is there, all right, and we project to this reality. There may be holographic portals, all right. We're just like at a movie projector, all right, that sends a picture, moving picture, let's say onto a blank screen. Those dark matter may be just that. They're projectors that project this reality.
I see. Okay. All right. And again, so
artificial reality.
Yeah, so we've talked about this before then. So where would it be projecting from? Is there another, like a completely opposite universe from us, like a part of the multiverse where it's coming from? Or is it outside of our universe and maybe some primordial darkness that's not really the next universe over? It's just a kind of a parking lot sort of for our universe. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, everybody seems, so many people seem to want to make something, some huge cosmic spiritual thing about the real reality. All right, I think I could be sitting in my chair. All right, in that dark matter space. All right, and this is being and I'm projecting into a data-based artificial reality.
Okay.
I'm trying to make this as simple as possible, but
there are.
Why shouldn't life? All right, the real reality be simple. Why does it have to be so? Cosmic or whatever. Maybe it's just the normal existence in that reality, and that we entertain. Matter of fact, we entertain ourselves this way.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
We go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, okay, so I'm with you there. It's so not only so is it this is sort of a cosmic philosophy of sorts, right? And it's even in the pop culture version of, right. We're not many of us are not astrophysicists, and like I said, we don't have $1 million budgets and gigantic telescopes, but we can read what the things they're telling us and then kind of extrapolate from there. And if it's not entertaining, well, why the hell are we doing it? I think these larger concepts to me are entertaining no matter what. But some people don't, right? Like you don't mix aliens in or something like that. They're not interested. That's But I like your theories here. How it's maybe just a larger projection of sorts. But continue.
It comes down to this. If there's some basis that we live that this is not real. We live in an artificial reality. It's a holographic image. Well, it has to be projected from somewhere. All right, and it seems to me the likely spaces would be dark matter is where it's all projected from.
Yeah, that makes some sense to me. Cole says you just described a simulation of sorts, and I think that's correct.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So if it is as simple as that, then who's actually running the projector? Now can we talk about Lovecraftian old ones?
Well, we're running the projector. All right. The truth of the matter is one great truth about the whole thing is that there is no Michael Strange, opposite, separated from any one of the people that are on your chat who are watching this program. We're all one. All right. That's one. It could be a 13-year-old playing a video game. Who knows? All right, but it could quite possibly be a computer game projected through dark matter. It could be. It could be a computer simulation. All right, and there could be all kinds of people behind that. we're doing it ourselves now. In this artificial reality, we're doing it. Creating artificial realities of our own. All right? And one more thing before I get off. I was thinking the other day, what's the fate of people, of human race? I'm hearing myself talk. Of when it comes to robots and automation, all that sort of stuff. What are we fated to if there's no work for us to do? And it occurred to me, you know what we're going towards? Everybody's job will be to entertain the entertainers. To be writers, to be Michael Strange, to be, entertaining the population. Because, no more drudgery making canned goods or working McDonald's. You'll just be entertainers. Everybody entertained. But if you doubt that, take a look at all these apps, all right, where people are making a bunch of money doing dumb things, or I don't even know them because, Michael, I'm a boomer.
So I still love you, man. I still love you. There's a whole bunch of boomer haters out there, but I think they're misguided. I think you're doing great, my man.
Well, there's a whole lot of my generation of boomers who needs to have their asses kicked. Who are putting down the millennials and the generation after them, saying, "Well, I made mine. I got here and I did it, and you can do it too. I went to college and I paid my student loans off. When I went to college, it was $2,500 a year.
Yeah,
a year, and that included books, everything. All right, and all that was paid for was by a theater grant in Pennsylvania. I never had to pay a penny. All right,
things they are changing. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. What came after that was they privatized the student loans. All right, they eliminated a lot of grants, and in order to trap these young people into enormous amounts of debt. All right, through college. Oh, go to college, and you'll get a job that'll, you won't have to flip hamburgers. And they come out and they find out they're flipping hamburgers.
Yep.
Those jobs aren't there.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to pay back $50, $60, or more $1,000 on that. I know that's not just what the show's about, but a lot of my boomers, my fellow boomers, think that their crap don't stink. All right, we had a lot of things, and a lot of them were socialism. We had a lot of things that boosted us up and got us to where we're comfortable today. All right, and the previous generation to the boomers built that for us with Social Security and all those other nice things that came with it under FDR. All right, they're not there anymore.
Yeah, no.
Between Reagan all the way, Clinton basically dismantled the whole FDR New Deal. All right, that's not there for those kids anymore. And if there's any boomers, fellow boomers listening to this show, please have a little bit of sympathy. All right, these kids are killing themselves because they don't have any hope anymore. And really reach out to them. All right, don't feel like you're you're some kind of great success that they could be the same as you, because they can't, because all the things that were there to help you get ahead, to make your life comfortable, aren't there anymore. Anyway, I don't know how I got into that.
It's good stuff. Before you go, I think we can all agree that maligning any generation in a huge sweeping statement is just kind of dumb. There's individuals that are good and they're bad and they're from every generation. It's just, it seems silly, more division politics. It's a political thing trying to pit people against each other to enact whatever policies. So anyway, I appreciate your thoughts tonight. Good stuff on the dark matter. Go ahead.
Again, that last thing about, I really do believe this. I think that in the next 10, 15 years, probably 15 max, that'll be basically how people make their money. They'll be making their money through Snapchat and apps like that, entertaining everybody, each other, and making money off it.
Let's hope so. Let's hope the robots come to save us from
the... That's what we're doing now. But we're entertaining the souls that are in the dark matter.
I like it.
Excuse me.
Way to bring it all the way back around, my man. That's Robert from Pennsylvania. I appreciate the phone call. Great thoughts, and I especially like the generational stuff. People need to hear this, that we don't have to hate each other just because we're different ages. It makes no sense. It's just the silliest thing ever.
Let's all get together, and let's all help everybody out.
Amen, brother.
Right? Let's stick with each other.
Amen, brother. I love that.
Okay, thanks, Michael.
Thanks again for the call. That's Robert from Pennsylvania. Good stuff. He's written a book called, hold on, I got it right here. Stories from a Fractured Mind, the Robert Collection by Robert Arend. Check it out. Smart guy. Pretty good stuff here. I'm reading his book, and there you go. That's who that was calling. And so for I think there's a lot of good points there, right? Maybe let's go back. Maybe stay off the Green New Deal or whatever the hell we're about to talk about. But let's talk about instead his theory on. Maybe this dark matter is being some sort of projection from somewhere else. And I'm seeing some theories in the chat here, which are pretty good, that we'll talk about as we go tonight. But that's the topic. What is this dark matter stuff? And so now that they're describing in an article this month that we no longer have, according to some, a Sagittarius A, supermassive black hole in the center of our galaxy, they're describing it as, instead of just a huge mass of dark matter that's holding things together. So who knows what's going on with this? What is dark matter? Is it some sort of projection for the simulation? Is it maybe, we talk about as the veil thins and things can phase kind of through the veil, right? At certain times of year, we've talked about that on this show, maybe around Halloween time or 3 a.m. or things like this. Is this the veil, actually? Is these huge masses of dark matter that are just smeared all over the universe? Is this possibly that paranormal veil where things maybe kind of go bump in the night? So who knows? Again, we're taking all theories here. This is kind of a speculation theater because, well, nobody knows what dark matter is. So I think it's fun to think about this. And again, back to the Lovecraftian old ones. Are these the monsters of the primordial universe that are somehow holding huge chunks of the universe together, maybe under their sway, as you might expect, right? Something like that. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Imagine invisible, gigantic primordial gods holding things together with black matter, dark matter tentacles. I don't know. I have no idea. Like I said, sometimes my mind goes crazy places when thinking about this stuff. But I think if you don't, well, chances are you'll go mad anyway. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're talking about the possibility of what is this dark matter stuff. Do you think it's related to maybe aliens, portal travel? Do you think it's a projection of like a simulation like Robert suggested? Or do you think it's something else entirely? I think that these exotic sorts of things that science hasn't really described yet may be able to maybe someday quantify some of the woo-woo stuff that people make fun of now, which of course, well, that's what we talk about on the show. So there it is. So if you want to be part of the show, you know what to do. We have a phone number rolling and we have a Discord rolling, and the number is this: 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. If you want to be part of the show, you can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. And we're talking about crazy stuff. Talking about philosophy, talking about maybe science fiction, talking about huge universal speculations of basically the meaning of life. And do we live in a simulation? Do we not? I don't know. Lots of things to think about and consider here. Does it have anything to do with aliens at all? Or are we just fooling ourselves? I'm open to all that. One more time. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. More after the break.
Broadcasting extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
All right, good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and this is the show where we talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. We get together on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific, and we talk about, you guessed it, aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. This show is live. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. And Facebook, I'm talking to you. You are grotesquely limiting our reach, and I do not appreciate it. We don't talk about any politics or any of the rest of this. So come on, man. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Here we are anyway. So, want to be part of the show tonight? The number to call is 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we'll put you on the show. We've had a couple fantastic callers already. And tonight we're discussing what is this with dark matter. And dark matter, of course, is defined as basically we don't know. That's to boil it down to let's actually go to the Wikipedia version, because of course you don't really know anything unless you go to Wikipedia, because, well, you know how they are. You know how they are. It's basically the Ministry of Truth, and so if you don't start there, you can't diverge. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. Dark matter is believed to be a form of matter thought to account for approximately 85% of the matter in the universe and about 25% of its total mass energy density, or about some really big mathematical calculation. And once you put letters in my numbers, I get all confused. But its presence is implied in a variety of astrophysical observations, including gravitational effects that cannot be explained by accepted theories of gravity unless more matter is present than can be seen. For this reason, most experts think that dark matter is abundant in the universe and that it has had a strong influence on its structure and evolution. Dark matter is called dark because it does not appear to interact with the electromagnetic field, which means it does not absorb, reflect, or emit electromagnetic radiation and is therefore difficult to detect. And that's straight from the Ministry of Truth. So if it says it there, we have to believe it, right? I think that's the problem. Is now there's nowhere to go from there. Once you go to the Ministry of Truth, you know the truth of things, don't you? And so, unfortunately, there's no way around this. Now we're locked into the truth, and we're going to have to roll with it. No, I'm just kidding. That's so boring. That's so boring. Well, isn't that boring when you read somebody's version of the truth and you just go, oh, all right, yeah, that's cool. I'm going to just roll with that for the rest of my life. Now I know what the truth is. Really? Is that what this is about? No, I don't think so. But anyway, so we've got all kinds of speculations. Robert called in and speculated that maybe dark matter is some sort of projection. And the universe that we live in is this simulation, right? We've heard of the simulation theory, and that we're not really ourselves. We're really just a projection or simulation from, a 13-year-old's computer, like a very advanced Sims game type of thing. Or this is some sort of maybe projection from somewhere else, as they're projecting our reality into this space that we call our universe, which of course may not be a universe at all. It may be something else entirely. Let's say the whole universe is a stage, as it were. But then we have some other theories here regarding dark matter. About Matt says in the chat, and this is fantastic and very, very smart. We talk about the paranormal on this show quite often, and maybe the dark matter that's out there in the universe is that veil. Is the veil through which maybe life and death passes, or maybe the veil through something else to another reality. And this is the barrier that's there between us, and it surrounds us and binds the galaxy together. You know what I'm saying? Wink, wink. Is dark matter the force? We could probably take that into its whole other show. But all right, let's go to the fantastic caller. What's up, Jennifer in Missouri? Welcome to the show. How are you tonight?
Oh, hey, Mike. You shouldn't have given this number out, because now I'm calling it like every single night.
Perfect. You're welcome. You're welcome every single night. Go right ahead.
So you're talking about dark matter. So at first I was like, I'm just going to listen, you know. But then, okay, so dark matter is so weird. All right, so it looks like what we have here is it's not that it's invisible per se. They can't see it, but we can only see like 5% of the universe anyway, you know? So that's really odd. I think that's really important. I mean, imagine that we can only see 5% of the universe anyhow. Okay, so let's consider that. And then I think it's very odd. Okay, so let's start over again. It's there, but it's not. They can't see it doing anything except how it influences things around it. So all I can detect is that there's something there that's not emitting an electromagnetic radiation of any kind. And so that's why they can't see it or detect it, but they know it's there because they can't, which is just bizarre anyway. So it's holding everything together, yet it's blowing it apart if it's concentrated. So that's very strange. I mean, for example, if you were to take concentrated amounts of dark matter and a person were to touch it, for example, because it lacks no electromagnetic radiation, it would basically you would just explode. You would just not even explode, that's the wrong word. You would just kind of evaporate, literally just disappear. And what's also strange about it is that, and like they said, you know, there's nothing to really, they can't detect it. They can just detect the absence of everything else in its presence. And it's spread out. It's not like it's something that's concentrated. It's spread out over everything. You know, even in us. Somehow holding us together, but in concentrated amounts would not tear us apart, but evaporate. We'll just think of it that way. Now, the other thing that is really odd about it is that it might exist. They assume it probably exists if you could detect it and figure that all out in a fourth dimension. Now, what's really odd about that, too, is that they speculate that time exists in a fourth dimension. We can't see time either, but we can recognize its effect on things. We can see that things come and go throughout infinity due to time and our perception coming out of our minds about it being there, even though you can't see time, but we know it's there. It's very much like that. And if you think about when time passes, after, as we perceive time passing, how things disappear and go away. When you die, it's almost like your time is up. People say that. And what's really odd about that is you dissipate, like the person, whatever they were, their body's still there, but whatever was making them alive, it goes away, just vanishes somewhere, goes somewhere. And what if that's what it is? What if it's a characteristic of time? It's what makes up time passing, therefore, is like death almost, but life too, because it's what creates the experience of having a life, because it goes through time. So I think it's a very weird topic, but, and almost, it's eerie, but it's just not.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm with you. I'm okay. Listening. I'm processing here. So, okay. So I do like how you're interweaving time into this theory, because that's one of the things that probably doesn't get talked about enough. And, we should probably do a show on time travel coming up here soon, just because it is fascinating that, there's been talk of the Akashic record and things like this, where time exists in all forms at all times, right? From literally the beginning to the end. And we live in these individual time slices as it passes. And so our perception of time is not time as it is, it's time as we perceive it. And so if you're going to kind of intertwine that into this dark matter theory, I like where you're headed here. Maybe this is Exactly that. Have you seen the movie Interstellar? I'm sure you have, with Matthew McConaughey.
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'm not gonna
should.
spoil it. You should watch it. It's amazing. It's one of those ones. I don't watch a ton of movies because I'm usually so disappointed, but this one is amazing, and it basically kind of covers exactly what we're talking about here, except through, let's say, a black hole. Wink, wink. So I won't ruin it for you, but do check that one out. It's amazing. But basically, the slices of time situation, interwoven with this dark matter as a construct of the entire universe, is an amazing theory. And like you said, it's confusing because not only is dark matter holding things together, it's also, as they say, pulling the entire universe apart with the expansion, right? As from what we know from, science and the rest of things, they tell us about this. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's as our reality as we're told at this point, right? Crazy stuff. So do you think there's any, maybe kind of like I suggested, maybe it's maybe a portal system of sorts, or some way to travel, or anything else beyond that? Or do you have anything else regarding dark matter?
I just think it's here all the time. Like, we don't know why people, for example, why they expire when they do, due to any cause and event. They just expire. Usually it's due to some kind of accident or illness. But we just know that if a person just dies of old age, or a flower, for example, or anything like that, anything that's alive, or even just the seasons and everything as they're just moving along through time, there's something moving that, and it might be this dark matter. And then when a soul, it depends, because, that goes into the paranormal thing with the ghosts and all of that. So it's really bizarre because we could be in communication somehow, but it's just crazy stuff because it's not detect. I don't know.
Don't worry.
That's what I think.
You were in the right place. You were in the right place for crazy stuff. It's okay. Don't go ahead and think it through.
Yeah, sure.
No problem at all. But yeah.
Right. Well, I just, what if that's basically it, Mike? I just think that, it's very plausible that people experience dark matter throughout their entire life when they're experiencing the passing of time, and that when they'll ultimately experience it one day, whenever we pass over into this other dimension, because it must be the thing that absorbs us. It might be. And it's also absorbing everything else and also creating it all at the same time, which would be exactly what it would be. So it's like the angel of death. I think it's that. And it's also, like, in a beautiful way, it's the creator of all things, but it's definitely got to do, well, in my opinion, with time, because they act the same. It seems like dark matter and time are acting very much alike because we can see the effects of them. They don't exist in our dimension per se. They exist in another dimension. Some people speculate the fourth dimension. And that could be what it is the passage of time, and somehow how that even operates, why that even happens. And that's it.
Nice. I like it. I look forward to finding out the answers, but I'm in no hurry.
I don't know.
No hurry.
We'll probably never get an answer on it. But
there you go.
Cool stuff.
Definitely.
I'll talk to you later.
I appreciate the call. Thank you. That's Jennifer from Missouri. Appreciate the call. Good stuff, guys. We're taking your phone calls tonight. We're talking about dark matter. What is this stuff? Is there some sort of woo-woo explanation has been suggested? Maybe this is the veil that kind of we're allowed to pass through or not allowed to pass through until we actually expire from this mortal coil sort of situation? Or is it something else entirely? Is it maybe nothing, and it's just a misunderstood version of gravity that we haven't really calculated yet? Lots here to think about, lots to talk about, and I kind of like the theories about the Lovecraftian old ones. Robert called about that Superman. What was that called? With that it was like the mirror prison they were trapped in. Maybe I don't know the actual term because I forget these things. But I do like some of these theories and where we're headed with this. And then Jennifer with the time situation. I don't know. Very good stuff. We are taking your phone calls tonight. Just kind of speculating. Science doesn't know what these things are, and we also do not know. But we're allowed to speculate because we're allowed to be wrong. So let's put our mind to it and continue with the fantastic calls. Thank you guys. Amazing calls as always. I swear this is the smartest audience in the whole world because you guys continually expand everybody's minds with your theories here. Let's go to Derek in Massachusetts. What's up, my friend? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you?
What's going on, Mike? Great show tonight.
Thank you.
Cool stuff.
Thank you. What do you think about dark matter, my man?
Great callers. Jennifer, and again, crushed it. Please join the Discords, any of them. Your contributions will be highly appreciated. I love the weird stuff. But yeah, I got a couple of thoughts on what's going on. I posted on both Discord chats, The Fringe and Troubled Minds. NASA, I think it was last summer, came out with like a series of sci-fi posters, like cosmic sci-fi posters. And one of them is called Dark Matter, and it's this big, the cosmic web presents dark matter, and it's this big like dark matter web with this giant like cosmic spider in the middle of it, and the caption says, "Something strange and mysterious creeps throughout the cosmos. Scientists call it dark matter. It is scattered in an intricate web that forms the skeleton of our universe. Dark matter is invisible, only revealing its presence by pushing and pulling on objects we can see. NASA's Roman Space Telescope will investigate in secret what will be revealed, based on real science, but it looks like this giant Lovecraftian cosmic web, you know, which like ties into your theory about it being this web that connects the whole universe together, you know?
Yeah, thank you for the link there. I've got the actual link up on the screen here. So I've never seen this. And like you said, it says on the poster here, based on real science. Is that true?
It's not real science, yeah. You're talking earlier about like these like giant tendrils, these black matter or these dark matter tendrils that kind of stretch across the universe. And that's what it seems like all these NASA artists have in mind when they create these pictures. You know, like over the weekend, I think, or last week, there was a ghastly hand from space.com. I posted it in the chat, and it just looks like this giant cosmic hand. And that's kind of like a thread between all these like NASA composites of like deep space and these like giant nebulas and all kind. They always look like these Lovecraftian outer gods. In your Cookie Monster analogy with Sagittarius A, that's exactly what it reminds me of. It reminds me of like in Marvel Comics they have Galactus, who's this like who just devours worlds, goes from planet to planet and devours worlds. And that's essentially what these like outer gods are. These like giant primordial deities that like exist in this primordial darkness that just like devour worlds, or just I guess they bind the cosmos together. But in Sabrina, like the fourth season of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix, they went fully Lovecraftian. They used the Eldritch Terrors, which are these like cosmic horrors that Lovecraft has, and like the big bad, they call it the Void. And like, kind of a spoiler alert for the show, so tune out for 30 seconds. But essentially, the Void, like all life, like spews from the Void. Like the Void creates everything, and then life builds up, and then the Void comes and collects it and devours it. So like, what if this dark matter is where everything sprang from, this primordial darkness, from where all life originated, and now it's slowly eating us. So like, almost like a Big Bang, Big Crunch type scenario, but like much more cosmic and like Lovecraftian and weird, you know?
Yeah, so funny. The theory here. I love that primordial Lovecraftian stuff with Cthulhu and all that. I did see this article you linked with space.com. The giant hand stretches through space, and for some reason I saw it, and it didn't link in my brain tonight. But it's literally perfect for what we're talking about. So thank you for sharing that. I've blown up the picture here and put it on the screen, and you guys can see there's like literally it appears to be like a ghostly cosmic hand, and this thing is unbelievably big, and it's reaching out and doing what exactly?
Yeah, exactly. And like, they really do that all the time. There's so many, I don't even know what you would search to find it, but like, there's all kinds of like weird nebulas forming in these weird, like, giant galactic cosmic like incubation places where these like giant creatures are forming, or like all of space looks like these like creatures. I don't know. It's real weird. It really is Lovecraftian, you know, like Jack Kirby sci-fi. Like, I don't know. It's cool stuff. But also like with the web idea in Hinduism, there's a concept called Indra's jeweled web or Indra's jeweled net, which it's different. It's more like connecting like events together, or like every moment is kind of connected. So it's trying to say like what everything you do ripples throughout the net. So if like every net had these like jewels on it, these like reflective like diamonds on it, so that each face reflects all the other faces, so that every smaller event you do ripples through reality and affects all other of the jeweled faces. Like it kind of like it's like a karma type thing, but it also like has a possible connection to an actual. That's the analogy I give for ley line grid, the portal grid that I talk about all the time. I think that's what it is. It's like a physical manifestation of that. This actual web of portals that tie together the entire cosmos. Like pretty trippy. And then there's that picture of space, like galaxies, and the human brain, and how like neurons, and how that looks the same, and like the dark matter of space mirrors the dark matter of the human brain a lot. So it's weird with like, I don't know, the paranormal connections that could come from that are kind of trippy, you know. And then there's black goo stuff, like in Marvel Comics, Venom introduced a character. It's like a really critically acclaimed over the last like 4 or 5 years in comics. It's like one of the biggest characters to be introduced. His name is Null from the Void, and he's basically like the black goo symbiote god. And he's like, it's all spider mythology because it's like Venom and Spider-Man, which ties right into like the actual black goo Gnostic like spider archon idea. But essentially, he wraps primordial darkness around him and like shrouds himself in primordial darkness as like life is kind of springing up around him, and like the Celestials are all being born and like growing humanity and everything. And then he comes from that primordial darkness and like creates all the symbiotes and stuff. It's a bad way to describe it, but essentially like it's this dark web of darkness that he controls. He's like tied to all of it, and he's using it to like consume life all across reality, you know. And then it's similar to DC Comics just introduced a few years ago, the Dark Multiverse, which like for years they've had the DC Multiverse and like Grant Morrison talking about the multiversity, and it's real complex and how it all ties together. But then essentially layering underneath that nobody really knew about is like a mirror of that multiverse, but a multiverse of nightmares. And it's like it's all the worst horrors you can possibly think of. Everyone's worst nightmares all exist in this dark underbelly, like that permeates like around reality, which I think is probably inspired by the concept of dark matter and how it like appears in all these pictures and stuff.
Nice.
It's a lot of rambles. So
no, you're good.
That's
You're
all
good.
I really got, but
you're spot on. I appreciate you guys calling in and giving your takes on this. It is right that you can kind of and you can even take this to like the Higgs boson, right? Maybe this is somehow connected to where when people move through, or energy moves through this particular field, it becomes matter, energy to matter, that transition. I mean, there's a lot here that's pretty spooky and pretty scary to think about in these cosmic terms. But as you know, we got to go to a break here. So thank you so much. This is a Night Stalker, Derek from Massachusetts. Thanks for the call. Thanks for listening, my friend.
Great stuff, Mike. Later.
Thanks, man. Talk to you soon. There you go. Simple as that. You guys want to be part of the show? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Fantastic takes from everybody tonight. Great calls. And we're taking more. We've got Mr. Mission Control on deck. Stay to hang in tight there. Mr. Mission Control, we'll get to you right after the break here. And if anybody else wants to be part of the show, phone number is up, 702-957-1037. We're talking about dark matter. Dark matter, what is this stuff? Is it something, well, unexplainable? Or is it something, maybe it doesn't exist at all? What in the world is going on? More Troubled Minds after the break. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we're taking your phone calls. Tonight, we're talking about dark matter. What is this stuff? Is it something mysterious, something or something not at all, not anything? Some have predicted that it doesn't exist, and it's just us, a fundamental misunderstanding of gravity, and others have suggested all kinds of amazing things that this could be. Of course, science doesn't know the answers, and neither do we, but it's sure as hell fun to get together and talk about it. So we are taking your phone calls tonight if you want to be part of the show. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we've got Mr. Mission Control waiting on deck. Let's go straight to him. What's up, my friend? You are on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, man? Great show, man. Great show, as always.
Thank you. Doing very well. What are your theories on this dark matter stuff?
So, Ben Davidson says it doesn't exist. For one reason, because they say it's not electromagnetic, right? So we can't see it. There's no evidence for it to be there except for push-pull of galaxies and stuff. So what I assume is that dark matter, or what they're referring to dark matter is just empty space, or really all space has got particles in it of gas, and so you've got denser areas of gas and big gigantic fields of elemental gases that are pushing and pulling the galaxies away and to and fro. And those, in fact, have electromagnetic influence because they're particles. The particles, it's dark matter, doesn't exist because it's neither a particle or a wave. It's something else. It would be in another dimension. It would be in the 6th to the 12th dimension or the 24th dimension. See, because particles, like atoms and molecules, they spin. The protons and neutrons spin, and then they have the electrons around them that spin in a certain direction. Okay, right? So matter, regular matter spins, I think, clockwise, and antimatter spins counterclockwise to the electrons versus the protons and neutrons in the atom, in the molecules. Okay?
Okay, I'm with you.
We have matter, and we can create antimatter.
Interesting that antimatter comes up. We were talking about antimatter last night with the Richard Dolan leak, the antimatter propulsion. But so I wonder. Okay, so then we cannot perceive dark matter as it is. So is it somehow, maybe, as some have suggested, do you think it's a little more woo-woo in that it may be that cosmic veil that we talk about as maybe energy passes through it from one existence to another? Do you think it's maybe, as some have suggested, that if you have dimensional realities, they exist on top of one another, and we're just doing the same things, just in or different things in the same space, and we can't perceive each other? Do you think it has anything to do with that?
Like how I go into timeline shifts and stuff like that. Well, you woo-woo, you mean frequency levels. Woo-woo would mean different frequency levels that would be all beyond our perception, our 5 senses, our 6 senses, mind you.
Right, exactly.
Our 6 senses.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. And our 6th sense picks up on these frequencies that our 5 senses cannot, or our technologies cannot perceive beyond the 4th, 5th dimensional frequencies. Because our technology, like they just made that 5th state of matter or 6th state of matter on the space station. When we start making products or sensors out of that type of element and stuff, and these new metals, these new metals and stuff, these are made by electrolysis of salt water, of ocean water, at different combined frequencies, electrical frequencies. And I just put some stuff in general chat to a channel called HH Hydrogen for Power. And David Cook is a scientist out there in California that's doing that. He's made his own electricity called linear pole magnetism, which is linear. It's not alternating current, and it's not direct current. It goes both ways at the same time.
Okay, all right. This is all. This is. Go ahead.
His own frequency to stuff, and he could make stuff superconducting by putting nanotubes in it with his electrolysis and all kinds of stuff. So we're actually rediscovering ancient technologies, and he's rediscovering Teslonian technologies. But see, I don't think anything's woo-woo. I think
it's just a different frequency we cannot perceive. And so this dark matter doesn't give off a frequency if it's not electromagnetic. Everything's electromagnetic. Everything is. Whether it's positive or it's got a positive charge or a negative charge, it's got two ends, or positive and negative. Nothing has a zero charge. And if it did, it would have an immense amount of gravitational pull. It would be a black hole. And we haven't photographed a black hole, because if there were black holes, there would be an area of light ring around them, and then a center would be black. And then that matter would come out somewhere in another dimension as like a star.
Yeah, so they actually did image a black hole, but I think they cheated. Yeah, so you're correct there. Now, okay, so the reason I say woo woo is just because a lot of people consider when you kind of speculate outside of known physics that it's science fiction or woo woo or new age philosophy or worse. But that's the only reason I use that term. I use it kind of as a self-deprecation sort of situation. I didn't mean it that way, but yeah, you described it very well. Like whether it's a frequency, energy, vibration, these sorts of things that we can't perceive as on a normal person basis. So a very, very good description there. And it is interesting you brought up some of the Tesla stuff. I don't know if you're following any of that Skinwalker Ranch series. I was just watching that last night, and they were discussing they were using a Tesla coil on the soil there and some other things. But I digress a little bit there. But it's kind of in line with what you were talking about. Some of this stuff with the frequency vibration, and who knows, even trying to open portals to different areas. But I don't know. If you got to boil it down to one thing, what do you think this dark matter actually is? Does it exist, and is it some sort of what you tell me?
It is deep space emptiness in between galaxies and stuff. There's gas clouds. And what they're seeing is the inability to see through these dense gas clouds that either have a positive or charge or negative charge or different fields. And they're pulling the galaxies together. Space, there's a void. There's a void at the center of all this to create everything. But within that void, there is consciousness. And within and without, there's consciousness, and that's what creates light. That's what creates photons and electricity. And the photons created matter, and the matter moves around because of this great. See, if something's not moving, if something's not moving, it's got a great force of gravity. The faster something moves, the less gravity it has. And vice versa, if you want to look at it that way. It's very confusing. It's like looking at the light spectrum. One end you've got redshift, and at the other end you've got redshift. Okay? And then it goes into the frequencies we can't see, either way, from low to high. But dark matter ineffectual, I don't think it exists in the way people think of the term dark matter, okay? Because it's not matter. It wouldn't be matter if it didn't have an electromagnetic charge. All matter has electromagnetic charge.
Yeah.
Or it wouldn't be matter. It would be either antimatter or matter, depending on which way the protons and neutrons and the electrons were spinning. It's a thing called proton spin.
Okay, I got you. So, I think we need to keep our mind open to other things too, that things we have as yet discovered, right? If maybe there is some sort of something that exists between matter and antimatter, right? Maybe it's very much like the particle wave duality. Maybe it can actually maybe this dark matter can actually be in both of those worlds at the same time, right? Kind of the superposition type of thing. So who knows? Who knows?
Exactly. Kind of like the space. Just like Lovecraftian. I love your last caller, Lovecraft. He needs to come to my channel and hang out with us and hang out with me. I'm a Lovecraft fool. But Lovecraftian, the space between spaces, it's not there, but it is there, but it's not really there.
Yeah,
You know?
I got you.
Creepy shit.
I got you.
Sorry about the 4-letter words. I'm
All
sorry.
right,
But
all right, you're cool. You're cool. We got to keep on trucking here. I appreciate it, Mr. Mission Control. Thank you for the call. We'll talk to you soon. Appreciate all the great chat too. Thanks, bro. Have a great night. Everybody follow Mr. Mission Control on YouTube. Good stuff there. Now this is the thing, right? Now we're talking about this in terms of the greater universal space. And so what does that mean? We've had some fantastic theories tonight on what dark matter may or may not be. And some interweave time into that, some interweave, like I said, maybe suggested quantum superposition, things like this, or particle wave duality, like Mr. Mission Control was just saying. Like there's a lot of this stuff that kind of maybe fits, right? But then one that we haven't really explored just yet that maybe I want to talk about, this is Kelly's theory, and maybe, I don't know if he's out there listening, maybe he can jump on and describe this to us in the third hour, but he's suggested that there's the Higgs boson, and it's the Higgs field is what allows energy as it passes through this field to become matter. And so he's suggested that in some ways that if energy comes through this field and becomes matter, there's got to be a way back. It's not a one-way street. And so as a result of this, kind of in terms of souls or people passing on, and energy actually never really energy never dies, it just changes form in some capacity, right? Is that he has suggested, and I love the theory, that there's got to be a way back through from matter to the Higgs field, and maybe this is it's been described. Let's kind of think of the dark matter in terms of like the ether, right? Or maybe in biblical terms, or like maybe not purgatory, but like something like this, where it's sort of a space that stores the energy as it passes from matter to energy, and then allows it to come back through the Higgs field and become matter again at some point. I don't know. Like I said, we're just kind of throwing out speculations here, and hopefully trying to get to the bottom of this, and maybe have some fun. It's it's no fun if like I said, you just read the Wikipedia and go, yep, all right, got the answers. Moving on. Let's go eat breakfast. You know what I'm saying? Talk about a boring way to think about stuff. But that's what we're doing tonight. We're talking about this and the dark matter as a universal situation. And what do you think it is? Science doesn't know. Again, like I said, there's some people who have speculated in the scientific community that it's not anything at all, that it's literally just us detecting a gravity signature of something that we have not determined is there yet. And here's another one too. I was kind of reading a little bit about this before we started the show, of course, as I normally do, so I can talk a little bit about this and not look like an ass without knowing anything. And some people have speculated that dark matter is actually what they call primordial black holes. And so as a result of that, what that means is we have the supermassive ones, right, like Sagittarius A, as they've described it, which now may be dark matter, according to a paper that just hit this month. But in other terms, a primordial black hole is actually like maybe a bowling ball sized black hole, where they've suggested, they've never actually officially observed one, but they believe that it's possible they're out there in the known universe, kind of floating around, basically unseen. Because if you think about, we're talking about these exoplanets that are like, 20 times the size of Earth and things like this, or just super massive suns, actual stars out there that are way bigger than our suns. We have a hard time detecting them, even with all our telescopes and technology and all the rest of this. But imagine trying to find, not only can we not directly view a black hole, even in the supermassive variety in many cases. Like I said, there's only been one attempt and one official, successful attempt to image a black hole. And like I said, they cheated, by the way. They basically filled in the blanks based on some data. So it's kind of like finger painting, unfortunately. But so imagine if you can't image a supermassive black hole, surely no chance in hell could you image like a tiny primordial black hole that seems to just be floating out there gobbling stuff up in the universe, right? And so as a result, what some have suggested is that the universe is full of these tiny primordial black holes, right? Just full of them. But because we've never actually seen one, it's just a theory, just like all the rest of our theories tonight. So very, very, very good stuff. Let's see. Jack wants to know, is dark matter the black goo? And that's another one too. I was actually thinking about that in terms of some of the science fiction that we've seen, like the Night Stalker brought up. Actual, Venom and, the Marvel Universe and some of these things where who knows what's going on with this. And maybe this is sort of a portal of sorts to the other side of whatever happens to be. I don't know. I like it. I like the projection theory from Robert tonight. I like the time theory from Jennifer. I like the Night Stalker stuff with the Lovecraftian. It's all good. You guys, the fantastic stuff from Mission Control there, which half of that was over my head. I mean, this is exactly why we do it in this format, because I could do it. I could read from some of these crappy articles, and some are good, some are bad, but for the most part, right, we're seeing what either the scientific community actually knows something about, or we're actually getting your takes on these things. There it is. That's what I was looking for. Kate says limbo. And that's exactly, maybe it is. Maybe this is the biblical limbo of sorts, where souls are able to pass through maybe a Higgs field situation and then maybe come back through this dark matter. And in which case, like Matt suggested earlier, the dark matter itself would be the veil, wouldn't it? It would be the veil from our universe to the next, or whatever you want to quantify that as. So pretty good stuff. I don't know what to make of this clearly, but nobody does. So I think that's the best part of it, is leaves us some liberty to just kind of throw our guesses out there. So pretty good stuff. But okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Again, we're taking your phone calls. We have time for another call or two if you guys want to squeak in real quick. Let's look at this. We have phone number 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And let's see, I pulled up some Lovecraft stuff. What else do we got? Here we go. Where else? I got some tons of good articles here. Here it is. There we go. Here's the black goo. This is from science.howstuffworks, and I'm going to link this real quick. And this is kind of what we were just describing right now, and this is what the Night Stalker was describing with the Venom thing and the Marvel Universe. Check this out. This is pretty cool. This is from science.howstuffworks. I've linked it in all the chats. Could dark matter spawn shadow life? And that right there is exactly what we're kind of talking about here. Is it possible that these huge chunks of this dark matter out there, again, like we're talking, it spans galaxies, like thousands of galaxies wide across the cosmos. And so this is from Dr. Ian O'Neill wrote this article. Now, here we go. So, in a mind-bending 2017 op-ed for Nautilus, famed theoretical physicist Lisa Randall delved into one of the more extreme possibilities for dark matter. Rather than thinking of dark matter as one type of particle, might dark matter be comprised of an entire family of particles that create dark stars, dark galaxies, dark planets, and perhaps dark life? This dark universe's chemistry might be as rich and varied as our ordinary chemistry. But don't go, there we go. So, of course, there you go. There's more in this. If I go into the article here and read a bunch of this, we'll run out of time. But basically, this is kind of the thing where, who knows? If, very much, I'm sure you guys have seen, many of you have seen the show Fringe, right? With Olivia Dunham and that whole bit, right? And at some point in that show, there's an alternate universe where they cross over into. And, it's a little bit silly Hollywood-wise, because the people on the other side wear berets or whatever, right? They're the same characters with different dispositions, different demeanors, and they dress slightly differently, right? But is this what's going on? Is it possible that on the other side here that there's a reverse of us, like these shadow entities, whatever's happening? I don't know. And again, some very smart people, scientists, PhDs, are speculating this stuff. So it's one of those things to me where I just don't think when we're talking in universal terms, there's no reason to sell ourselves short on our theories, because you don't have to have a PhD to speculate about the meaning of life. Come on now, so free your mind, as Quado said, and Total Recall. Free your mind. But like, just let it wander. Who knows what's out there? And that's part of the fun of getting together and talking about this. But who knows, right? If that is like imagine like just the reverse, basically like the opposite, like kind of like the mirror image universe of us, except it exists within this dark matter. And yeah, I mean, that could explain the shadow people, right? Yeah, there you go. Night Stalker, the upside down in space. Who knows? A space side down. Yeah, and I think that's again, that's part of this show. Part of why we get together and talk about this in this live format is because, like I said, you guys blow my mind. I start with like I said, I pull up about 20 links and we go from there and see where the conversation ranges. And I expected to get to aliens. Actually, I got links kind of talking about dark matter and aliens and how some have speculated that they're related somehow, but we didn't really get there because so many other good theories to really think about and talk about. But good stuff, definitely good stuff. So as you guys know, this show goes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we love to talk about this. No Ash tonight, but I think we did just fine without him. Hopefully he'll be able to come back and maybe be on the show tomorrow, or who knows, whenever. Otherwise, he'll be here next Wednesday. But in any case, right, dark matter in this capacity is unknown. I think at the end of this, we can probably say, yep, nobody really knows. But what I can say for sure is we had a hell of a lot of fantastic theories about what this might be tonight. And isn't it fun? Isn't it fun to think about the darkest places in the universe, the oldest places in even the multiverse as we expand to different dimensions and things, and consider what might be out there. And I think, they've said Tom DeLonge has tweeted recently that good stuff is he said that it's bad, right? When people really know the truth, it's going to be bad regarding aliens. But imagine this. Imagine if it's something also bad on a universal scale. And dark matter really is sort of the upside down, the true upside down of the universe, with shadow entities or shadow life or things like this. And they're living here right now. I don't know. Anybody ever seen a shadow creature? I have no idea. There we go. What's up? Bad interpretations of of observations. Damn it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, indeed. All right. So as we finish this up, you guys know the deal. Like I said, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. We'll be back tomorrow talking about this on the Fringe FM. As for right now, if you're listening on Fringe, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. If you're listening to us on the podcast feed, DLive, YouTube, or Facebook, stay tuned for a third hour of Troubled Minds. And this is the show where we get together and talk about all the wacky stuff, right? Who knows? It's UFOs sometimes, it's dark matter other times, it's aliens all the time. Because, well, we've always got Lovecraftian old ones looking over our shoulder. So that's it. That's what's up. At the end of this, like I said, thank you guys so much for listening. I understand you could be doing a million other things right now, and you're here with us. I'm honored by that. Thank you so much. Looking forward to more fantastic chat with you guys and fantastic calls. And as for right now, tonight, thanks again. Be sure, be strong, be true. From our troubled minds to yours, thanks for listening. Have a great night. This is Michael Strange from Troubled Minds. Did you hear that scientists recently discovered radio waves coming from Proxima Centauri? Well, I cannot confirm nor deny. We are broadcasting from that neck of the woods. You are listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM. Guys, you know the drill. We got a third hour of Troubled Minds coming up, and we're just going to take a quick 2-minute break. We're off the radio here. Time to let the hair down. Time to undo the belt buckle, and top off your drink, get some popcorn, put the kids to bed, whatever you got to do, hit the restroom. And yeah, we'll be back with one more hour of Troubled Minds. We're still taking your phone calls, so if you want to be part of the show tonight, phone number is right there, right below. See, everybody brags about having a bunker. I've got receipts, proof, right there. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Like I said, taking your phone calls, talking about dark matter. What could this be? Do you think there's alien considerations here, or do you think it's much ado about nothing? As always, the scope of the conversation can range far and wide between if you're a skeptic or a believer or somewhere in between. It's all good. All right, 2 minutes. Be right back. More Troubled Minds. 2 minutes. Countdown. Be right back. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I am your host, Michael Strange, and we are talking about dark matter tonight. And there's some weird stuff here. There's some weird angles to kind of take with this. And again, let's go back to this Science How Stuff Works article. We were talking about last night when Ash and I were kicking this idea around, is that is this that dark matter not just alien in thought, but also possibly alien in function of some sorts. And this is pretty good stuff here. So the op-ed here for Nautilus is this individual again talking about does dark matter harbor life? And linking this, and you guys can check this out. Pretty good stuff. But I mean, this is the type of thing that I think we need to really consider when you're talking about not just dark matter in particular, but like other planets and other planetary everything, right? Other galaxies and the rest of this. Is that there could be life everywhere. Like we always say, like life finds a way, right? That back to the Michael Crichton thing. And it's totally true. It's absolutely true. It's proven here on Earth. It seems so short-sighted to believe that this is it, right? This is it. No, I'm sorry. It's just not it. But here we go. So this is again from Nautilus, NAUTIL.us. Anyway, I linked it so I don't have to say it. Does dark matter harbor life? An invisible civilization could be living right under your nose. And then, so of course, what do? We end up talking about these different phasings back and forth of possible, like shadow entities living in the same space as us. Let's read just a little bit of this, because again, so when scientists kind of go off the rails a little bit and talk about, shadow life, I'm interested. And I hope you are too. So let's read just a little bit of this article. Even though we know that ordinary matter accounts for only about 1/20th of the universe's energy and 1/6 of the total energy carried by matter, we nonetheless consider ordinary matter to be the truly important constituent. With the exception of cosmologists, almost everyone's attention is focused on the ordinary matter component, where you might have thought to be largely insignificant according to the energy accounting. We, of course, care more about ordinary matter because we are made of this stuff, as is the tangible world in which we live in. But we also pay attention because of the richness of its interactions. Ordinary matter interacts through the electromagnetic, the weak, and the strong nuclear forces, helping the visible matter of our world to form complex, dense systems. Not only stars, but also rocks, oceans, plants, and animals owe their very existence to the non-gravitational forces of nature through which ordinary matter interacts. Just as a beer's small percentage alcohol content affects carousers far more than the rest of the drink, I like it. Ordinary matter, though carrying a small percentage of the energy density, influences itself and its surroundings much more noticeably than something that just passes through. Interesting stuff here, right? So familiar visible matter can be thought of as the privileged percent, actually more like 15% of matter. Okay, let's see. Let's get to the aliens. In the usual scenario, dark matter lacks this type of interesting influence and structure. The common assumption is that dark matter is the glue that holds together galaxies and galaxy clusters, but resides only in amorphous clouds around them. But what if this assumption isn't true and it is only our prejudice and ignorance, after which is all the root of most prejudice, that led us down this potentially misleading path? So let's see. Let's get to the aliens. Let's see. In similar fashion, maybe one type of dark matter particle experiences feeble or no interactions aside from gravity, but a fraction of it, perhaps 5%. Based on what we've seen in the world of ordinary matter, perhaps this scenario is even more likely than the usual assumption of a single, very feebly or non-interacting dark matter particle. So this is a very long paper. All right. So I just found this actually from the other one, the link from the other one. So in any case, all right. So what if? Let's we're playing what if. Does this dark matter in some capacity harbor life? Is there something here to talk about, to consider? And I think for sure it's fun. It's a fun speculation because, we talk about aliens and all the rest of this stuff. But what's up, guys? Thanks for telling me I'm not boring. All right, but I don't know. I think there's some weirdness to this, and what's really going on? What's going on with this dark matter stuff? It's out there, right? We can't really see it, but I think we're all smart enough to realize that we don't have to see it for it to exist. And I think that's kind of back to that woo-woo like I was talking about, with some of that, like Mr. Mission Control said, the frequency and the vibration type stuff, that just because you can't grab a handful of it doesn't mean it's not out there doing its thing, right? So in any case, I don't know. This is an interesting thought, that dark matter, right? I mean, we've talked about shadow people and things like this, but what if they do exist in this kind of alternate reality, and the doorway to that is this dark matter? I don't know. Like I said, this is one of those kind of thoughts that goes kind of far-ranging, with not just aliens, but metaphysical implications and all kinds of stuff, right? So I don't know. Again, as you know, I'm not trying to tell anybody any of these are the answers tonight, because I don't believe answers are easy anymore. Even in simple things, I don't think answers are easy, especially when you're talking about the cosmos. All right, there's some people, Neil deGrasse Tyson, guys like this, that are like, we know of all the things we know, it's definitely easy to explain. But I'm not so sure. I'm gonna be a contrarian and just say not so sure about that, about how easy it is to maybe explain away all these things, when there's so many things we have no idea are out there. But there's so many things here regarding again, back to the primordial black holes. They say they might be just littered everywhere out there, and that accounts for the gravity signature of this dark matter. Or very much like Jennifer was saying, something to do with the time, how it's interwoven somehow with this time, and we'll only know what dark matter is when we pass on. Or like the Night Stalker that was saying, Derek from Massachusetts was saying that maybe this is some sort of it is this in and of itself could be those Lovecraftian old ones out there, and some doorway, some portal between us and them. Or maybe it is them. Maybe it is them themselves, kind of like I described, these huge tentacles kind of holding these galaxies together with this under their sway, right? Under their what would you call it? The devotees of the galactic churches, or whatever you might want to call this thing. I don't know. But yeah, you tell me. We're still taking your phone calls tonight if you want to be part of the show. What are your theories on this? Is this just again, like the musings of Michael Strange, which is like, oh geez, what are you doing, man? Or is this fascinating and interesting, and you guys have some good concepts you want to talk about? You know the drill. We're still taking your phone calls. We got a whole hour. So if you got anything to talk about, we got time for you. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And maybe it is. Maybe it's a number of these things. And I kind of liked, I don't want to drop too many spoilers because we got folks out there that haven't seen Interstellar, but it seems like there's some, that was also, quote, based on science, right? Based on science. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of parallels there between what we're talking about, and of course it's science fiction, but it's also based on science and gravity signatures of black holes and all these things, right? But here we are, mere mortals, mere humans on this tiny blue pale dot out there floating through whatever we're floating through, the cosmos, and trying to speculate and consider these things. I don't know, you guys tell me. So I got some articles to go through, which I will do. Pretty good stuff here to kind of explain some of these theories about dark matter. But as always, you guys know the drill. I'd rather hear from you. I would rather hear from you. So phone number's up. I'm going to link some stuff, and I'm going to just go through it. So if I get no phone calls, you know what to do. Dial the damn number and get in here. Let me drink some whiskey. All right, let's see. Christopher says, I do believe they're planning to land there before going to Mars. It would make more sense. The moon, right? I'm talking about the moon. Yeah, that would make a ton more sense to actually land on the moon first before you go to Mars. But, again, we live in the upside down, so things are backwards here. But okay, so as we continue to talk about this, this is from SciTech Daily. And this is kind of what got us on this last night, talking about this with Ash and I. Surprising dark matter theory explains mysterious supermassive black holes that formed early in the universe. So here we go. The analogy, this is a quote from a Hai Bo Yu, an associate professor of physics and astronomy at the University of California, Riverside. Quote, the analogy I've used is that if you saw a child that was only 5 or 6 years old but already weighed as much as an adult human, talking about the black hole and the dark matter, right? So it's strange because from what physicists have understood, it takes time for a black hole to eat enough surrounding matter to grow so massive. So it seemed like those black holes should not have had time to get so big. And we're talking about black holes from the early universe, right? So the theory is kind of like this. You don't get a supermassive black hole. It starts as a regular black hole when a neutron star collapses, and then it begins to eat mass around it. And as it eats planets and gas and things, it grows. And as it grows and grows and grows and eats more things, it becomes massive and supermassive. But they're saying that it kind of doesn't fit. It doesn't fit some of this stuff because in the very, very early universe, there wasn't enough mass of matter for these supermassive black holes to actually consume to become so large. So I guess what we're saying here is that even astronomers, astrophysicists, these guys have no idea what actually formed supermassive black holes. And now in the other news, like we said with Sagittarius A, is it possible that maybe we're mischaracterizing black holes entirely? And this is not just black holes as we know them. It's maybe some sort of weirdness with the dark matter and instead. So yeah, I mean, lots of stuff to go through. I can read some of these articles, like I said, and keep you bored, or we can listen to you. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Phone number is right down below. Don't mind my bunker. I haven't tidied up the place quite yet, but the phone number is up, and troubledminds.org is the official website. You can join the Discord as well, and we're talking about this crazy stuff. Let's see. Cole says, maybe the black holes were here first and formed the universe. And that's an idea. That's an idea. If the supermassive ones, they can trace back to the early beginning of the universe, then what made them? What created these things? So I think that the jury's still out on what actually a black hole is and where it comes from, other than like the small versions that they've been able to kind of verify through math and whatnot. So let's see. So that's what Cole says. Good comments there. Richard says, Kate, scrolling too fast. Micro beings feeding on things like prions, who knows? But what else is down there? Cole says, maybe the black holes were here first and formed the universe, and maybe. I don't know. Kate says there are some really weird looking creatures in the ocean. And I agree. I think that's part of this conversation tonight are there aliens? Are there aliens somehow maybe manipulating this dark matter, because as you would expect, right? You've got we're almost a type 1 civilization. A type 2 civilization can manipulate the entire energy of the solar system, right? And so a type 3 civilization can manipulate the energy of a galaxy, of an entire galaxy, right? So a type 3 civilization, you would expect, would probably be tinkering with dark matter in some capacity, right? Because they would have the ability to. And so I think that's what we're doing here. What else do we got? Let's go to chat on Facebook and see what's going on over there. What's up, guys? What's up? What is up on Facebook? I see you guys. Let's see. John says, I'm surprised they're allowed to use the term dark matter still, and nobody has made an issue of it being racist. It's probably coming. It's just not so high on the list. Like I said, I think the problem is, or not the problem with space news like this is it's hard to politicize space news. But I still contend that once we have colonies on Mars, they're going to politicize the shit out of space news. So yeah, I mean, I think you're right. What What's up? Tam says, take DMT and free your mind. Make sure it's legal in your jurisdiction. Let's see. What's up? Robert says, when I spit, that spit is an entire universe. Though suspended in the air only a fraction of a second. Within that spit universe, a fraction of a second seems to be billions of years. Is the universe we experience really just the spit of something else? I like it. I like it. If it is, pray we don't land soon. Good stuff. Good stuff. Great calls tonight. Looking to hear from you guys. That's the type of mind bending. No, I read your comment twice. Here's why I read the comment twice, because they come to me on delay. So I've got one chat that goes up first, and I see it, but then it doesn't actually pop over into my restream chat, which is how I do put it up there. So yeah, so I'm not only reading it from one spot, it's like populating like 10 seconds later in another spot. And so, yeah, no, I didn't have a stroke, man. See what I mean? Everybody's a critic. Come on, Cole. Come on, bro. Come on, man. All right. So there we go. Looking to hear from you guys. Nobody have takes on this dark matter, the Higgs boson, any of the rest of that stuff? Give me a call. 702-957-1037. Or else I'm going to read some boring science articles to you guys. And you know what? Well, you know what'll happen. You know what'll happen once I start doing that. Everybody starts falling asleep. That's what happens. But okay. All right. Let's do it. Phone number's up. Discord is up. You guys know what to do. Let's see. What else did I pull up here? There we go. Here's another one. So now notice that there seems to be a crisis in not only astronomy, astrophysics, a crisis of these black holes now. So it used to be that the standard model of the universe was, we expected these supermassive black holes to be in the middle of these galaxies. Well, but in this case, now we have, this is from the news.uchicago.edu, University of Chicago. Could dark matter be behind mysterious supermassive black holes in the early universe? And so again, right? So we're not even sure anymore. The line is blurring between a black hole and dark matter. And so here we go. So when astronomers use telescopes to look back in time toward objects in the universe whose light is now only reaching Earth after billions of years, they see something odd. Black holes, big ones, that already existed when the universe was still very young. That's what we were just talking about there. Now, this is strange because from what physicists have understood, it takes time for a black hole to eat enough surrounding matter to grow so massive. So it seemed those black holes should not have had time to get so big. There we go. I think this is from the other article. So this ties together the two great mysteries in astrophysics. Early supermassive black holes and dark matter very neatly when they put together this paper here. So in the early days of the universe, visible matter existed as clouds of gas particles that would grow into denser objects such as stars and galaxies. These clouds would collapse and form a seed black hole, the baby stage of a supermassive black hole. However, in this scenario, scientists said the seed would not have enough time to grow into the most massive black holes observed in the early universe if it eats at a normal pace. So, we were dealing with Galactus. Yeah, right? Maybe. Galactus, the planet eater, the galaxy eater. This continues. But alongside the ordinary matter in these clouds was a halo of dark matter, a mysterious form of matter that we can tell is there because of its gravity pulls on invisible things in the universe. The scientists wondered if dark matter could serve as an ingredient that helps create supermassive black holes. According to their simulations, if particles of dark matter in those halos were colliding with each other, such activity could tip the balance of the system could spread heat to one another as they collided, making the central halo unstable. They also found that dark matter collisions would dissipate the halo's angular momentum, the quantity that describes the spinning of a body, which further tips the system towards collapse. Such a collapse usually takes a long time. However, the presence of ordinary matter in the halo center adds extra mass that deepens the gravitational potential here, thus expediting the heat spread. Quote, the presence of ordinary matter would shorten the collapse time scale by 2 orders of magnitude, said graduate student and co-author Wei Jing Feng. these seed black holes would have been massive, much more massive than those typically formed by the collapse of ordinary gas. Anyway, you see, if I'm going to read these scientific articles, you guys are going to fall asleep. So I'd rather talk to you. If you guys want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. Or I'm going to just keep bombing you with these really dense articles. Let's see. What else do we got? Well, where do we go? What else do we got? No deja vus. No deja vus. We're okay. All right. Everything's good here. Everything's fine here. We're all fine here now. All right. So that's what's going on. Looking to talk to you guys. And if you don't want to call, then I'll just bore you to tears. That's the way it goes. And all right. So the topic tonight, of course, is this. Are we... Well, so with the considerations, what is dark matter, right? We've talked about the primordial black holes, the little guys that are supposed to be all over the whole universe, right? Or is it something else? Is it just a fundamental misunderstanding of how gravity works? And so we're not actually seeing an unexpected gravitational field in this dark matter. We're just misunderstanding how gravity works on a larger scale. That could be, right? Meaning that dark matter doesn't exist at all. Or is it something a little more exotic, like was suggested in some of these papers that we're reading with maybe there's a shadow form of life that's kind of settling in and living in these pockets of these dark matter, and that we're yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Looking for your thoughts on this stuff. And all right, so that's the deal. Thanks to Jay for hopping in. Let me drink a little bit of whiskey here. Jay says, "I love the articles. I love the articles too. I do too. But like I said, if I'm just reading this stuff, I think I bore the shit out of you guys. So all right, so let's go to Jay. Jay is in the caller queue. What's up, Jay? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Mike.
Yo. What's up?
Whoa, what's happening? I don't have my speaker in. I'm sorry. My headphones were disconnected. I blew it.
Buddy. I got you, buddy. Jennifer says this. Maybe we are black holes absorbing experiences and existence by the order of a little dark matter, creating the phenomenon of time passing and things happening over time when the electromagnetic pulse stops it over. Yeah, it could be. There you go. And Cole's got it right. Jennifer, I'm too tired for that, but that's a great theory. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff there. I have no idea. Like, I think the further you expand into different, time spaces and alternate maybe dimensions here, this is weird. This is weird. We recently had actually a couple months back, scientists had postulated that through this dark matter and I think dark energy, they were saying that they might be able to predict portals opening up into different places. So anyway, yeah, there we go. All right, welcome, Jay. You get your speaker all fixed up? What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry, I had it charging and I was talking into the speaker and I'm like, I can hear him, but that's right. Very quiet.
That's okay. It's all good.
Yeah, I look at, all of the going around with the CERN collider and all of these things, I mean, we're dibbling and dabbling in things that, we don't know, are we opening up? You brought up that Friends show earlier in the conversation where you were talking about, they had the two things and, Boston Dynamics is one of the big things in the show and then one of the big things that's going on in the world now. Are they dropping us little hints about all these things? The Time Bandits, right? It's pure evil. Dark matter.
Oh, yeah,
back in the 80s.
Right.
Don't touch that.
There's actually I think there's a dark matter radio network also, right? I think so.
I haven't heard of them.
I think so.
I'll go and see if I can fight them out. But I don't know. I mean, the whole process, that has to do with God or the transport between dimensions or something like that, and that's just where it all happens. There's a lot of ways you can look at it. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, did we want to fly out there and jump in it? I mean, how would you even?
No, I think that's the thing, right? So as humans, we are woefully inequipped to even really kind of do that, to dive into this somehow. And so I think that's part of the problem with this, is that it's not something even tangible to us. We detect its presence through a gravitational signature. That's how we do it, right? And so Well, what does it mean? Like, who knows? Like, nobody really knows here. And so here's another one. This is from Forbes.com. Ask Ethan, is dark matter the aliens of astrophysics? And maybe, right? I think maybe. I don't know, man. What's your best guess on this stuff? You've heard all kinds of all the great calls tonight. Some of my ramblings and some of these science articles. What do you think of dark matter at this point?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to think of it. You know, is it real? Is it, God? Is it evil? Is it the aliens? Is it a brewing place? Is it where the universe was born? Is it a bunch of holes where that's where all the time travel and everything goes on? Is that the little curtain? Is it the aliens' way of flying the chemtrail planes over the certain place where they're landing for the day so nobody sees them? Okay, something as simple as that, or is it just that our telescopes aren't good enough to figure it out, or they're computer programmed to decipher what it is? Can't do it. Just we don't know. I mean, look at how much we've learned in the last 5 years, and then go back 10, 20, 30, and how much better things are. The hand of God, that was taken by the Hubble telescope, right? That one picture that you had up there.
Yeah, I think so.
Earlier.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, and that was a long time ago. I mean, I remember reading about that in high school. So, I mean, is that really a picture?
Yeah.
Or is that, our rendition of the...
Actually, no. So the one you're talking about, the hand of God, is something completely different. This one is from the Chandra X-ray Observatory. That's from NASA, and this is recent, actually. So it's not just an actual photograph of the sky. It's an X-ray version of that, and so I guess you wouldn't be able to see this with the naked eye. It would have to be through the X-ray observatory. So that's the new one that was up, which is right there up on the screen if you guys didn't see it. But it does look like
it looked really similar to that hand. Yeah, it looked really similar to the hand of God one that was the first thing I thought about when I saw it.
Yeah,
so you can see the muscles in it, and it looks like tendons and bones and all.
Yeah, and like it's reaching for like what appears to be like I don't know, like some
the little red dots that game that is picking up on his dash cam on his truck.
Yeah, kind of exploding through the sky here. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea what this could mean. But is it pareidolia? Is this again? The hand of God? Is this Lovecraftian old ones? What is it? Is it just whatever the hell it is? I have no idea. Vicky's got a good question in the chat. Michael? Did you get a chance to watch the TMZ thing? I did not. I instead watched part of the thing tonight with Josh Gates and those guys, but I had to cut it short because we were about to do the show. No, I did not see it. I do have it recorded, and I will watch it, and we'll talk about it at some point. But did you catch any of that stuff, Jay? The TMZ or the other one today?
All I caught was what you were talking about on the chat and Discord, because it was tablet times with the peanuts, and
gotcha.
I have to watch and monitor the tablet time with the little people to make sure that they're not, I don't know, listening to your show at 5 or 6 and asking me questions I can't answer.
Right. That would be bad, or worse, or much, much worse than that. That the internet's a big, scary place.
That is true.
That is true. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, no. Interestingly, here's another article too. When we were talking about with Ash and I last night, this is from RT, which of course is Russia Today. And the headline here is, scientists say invisible aliens live among us. Revolutionary discovery or proof that too many useless academics live among us is what they're saying, which is fantastic. And here we go. As unlikely as this may sound to firm believers in the infallible rationality of our highest learning and research institutions, numerous scientists do believe there's a chance we may be walking among aliens. In fact, things are even weirder than this, because these same scientists believe that these aliens are invisible, undetectable to our 5 senses and to conventional methods of detection. Each year seems to bring a new subscriber to this steadily growing club, with the latest induction being Helen Sherman, the first Brit in space and now in Imperial College London's Department of Chemistry. Sharman told The Observer, quote, "Aliens exist. There's no two ways about it." Uncontroversial enough, you might say, but the OBE, Order of the British Empire, went on to share her view that aliens could be on Earth right now. Quote, "Will they be like you and me, made up of carbon and nitrogen?" she asked. "Maybe not. It's possible that they're here right now and we simply can't see them. And this is actually tied into the dark matter theory that maybe there's some sort of a barrier or boundary or the veil, as it's called, or whatever this is, that they exist in our same space, but they're kind of walking around as shadow people or these other things. We could read a little more of that article, but what do you think about that? What do you think about that theory, that they may be here and they may be kind of phased into another reality in our same space?
Back and forth between the two, going, they're half here, they're half there. They want to hang out here and check us out. I mean, that's highly possible. I mean, I really do. I think that's something, the Skinwalker Ranch show, I'm pretty get into that. I'm not up to date. I'm a couple of episodes behind, but, the Native American Indians have been talking about them for as long as they've been telling stories. I think the one, I can't remember, Too Many Moons to Remember or something like that. I think the one chief who started off telling the story about was how it started. So Too Many Moons to Remember. I mean, that means it was forever ago. All of them, and all the religions. I think it's something that we're told and we know, but it's just whether or not we want to accept it. Like the stuff they leak us out into movies, the Galactic Federation of Planets or whatever that the Israeli guy was talking about before they called him old and senile and he retired. Is that why they gave us Star Wars? Just all, I think really, I think there's some odd thing that all this stuff goes on in the world, but you have to admit it. I mean, you don't have to tell the whole truth. We know about the dark matter, but the only way we can get a picture of it is with an X-ray telescope, and we get a picture from however many, hundreds of thousands of light years ago, but they know. And it's just, I think the imagination and everything else that we have is all stemmed on like these little bits of science, the science kids taking a class or something like that in college, and he reads an article or a paper or something like that, and then that's what stems his show. Is that the way that it works? Is that the way it's supposed to work? It's hard to say. Yeah.
And so, I mean, what did Arthur C. Clarke say? That any sufficiently advanced technology would be indistinguishable from magic. And so that's kind of what we're talking about. So not just technology-wise about the laws of physics, that these, this type of thing is just because we can't conceive of it being real within our known boundaries of, the laws of our physics, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist elsewhere. Crazy stuff is what this is about. But I don't know. I kind of like the theory of being able to have these entities, whatever they are, kind of cross through, or maybe exist here as, like they say, maybe as shadow people or something like this. Have you ever seen a shadow person, Jay?
I wouldn't say a shadow person because it was kind of like a white gig, and I don't even know what I'd call it. And as soon as I saw it, I pretended I didn't, because it was in the middle of a Ghost Hunters trip. So it was just kind of like, what was that? And I'm like, I don't know. And it's like, you want to call these guys out on it? I was like, well, they're kind of jerks to the last one. So no, I don't,
Okay. So you did see some sort of apparition then.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like a body or anything else like that, but it just kind of looked like, I'd call it like flowing light, it was like flowing light, kind of like, I don't know if you could imagine shining a flashlight through a shower curtain or something like that, that would, just little, like when you're looking at the bottom of a swimming pool with the sun shining on it, how you have the light, it just kind of drifted around the corner down the hallway. Both of us saw it out of the corner of our eye, and it was like, wow, what was, and it's like, nah, I don't want to know, because at that point I was really skeptical. About it. I worked in the building every day. I was in there and out there every day. The ghost hunters came, begged to come. And it was like, sure, come over, whatever day, we'll pick a day and a time. You guys come over and you do your thing, and I'll make sure you don't step through a hole in the floor. And I was kind of skeptical about the whole thing, because the first guy that came on, we were doing it for a Halloween party, and he was talking about setting up the things that you step on and the spider jumps out at you from the Halloween store, just to spook people.
Right.
So, I mean, there's that too. But these guys, you know, they were pretty prepared, and the third guys were really prepared. And the third guys are when the ones got really freaky because, you know, they had the little box. I can't remember what they call it, with the 4 or 5 different colors on it. But, you know, I mean, the thing is, you know, is it aliens, you know, going to, you know, what is it? Is it a ghost? I mean, you start seeing those things. It's bad energy. You know, it could just be like a bunch of bad juju.
Bad juju.
Wrong spot in the planet. That's where the, you know, the pure evil is buried, you know, underneath the Masonic temple or underneath the pyramids. That's why there's bad juju there. They open the doors, they got all the diseases. You know, that guy in China, they still won't let you open the doors. Supposedly he's buried in a bed of, or river of mercury. You know, the first guy, the Forbidden City. You know, they still won't open that place up. Why? What kind of secrets is that place hiding? I think there's secrets everywhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, rambling.
No, you're good. That's a talk show, man. We're supposed to ramble. I'm actually using the time you're rambling here to go talk to or look for dark matter in this Lovecraftian thing here. Let's see this article. All right, here we go. So check this out. This is from this is linked by the Night Stalker, Derek from Massachusetts earlier. So this is from lovecraftianscience.wordpress.com. Now this is hot. An alternative hypothesis to the utilization of ether as a means of interstellar transportation has been that the elder things use dark matter and or dark energy as a means of propulsion. However, it should be emphasized that dark matter or dark energy is not simply a replacement for ether, A-E-T-H-E-R. As explained by Sean Carroll, ether was a theoretical idea that could not be verified with experimental evidence. In sharp contrast, dark matter and dark energy are observations in the universe that physicists would love to ignore but can't. Dark matter is new, but currently undetectable kind of matter that appears to be required to explain how galaxies spin with our understanding of gravity. Dark energy is a strange force that causes the universe to expand at an accelerated rate. So, yeah, there we go. So the reluctant consideration. All right, so hot take on that. If you got anything to say about that, there's another.
It kind of sounds like we're making something up because we have no idea what we're talking about.
I think so. Well, and this is Lovecraftian fiction of sorts. So,
well, I mean, no, but I mean, it's that's the thing is, those. I think science does it too. I mean, look how much they got into the Higgs boson particle now, figuring it out, and what does it do? I mean, yeah, we figured it out. We know that we discovered something new, and it's great, and everything else like that. But what steps do we have to take to get there, and why? You know, always back to the journalism questions: who, what, when, where, and why. You know, what is it going to do for us?
Yeah, we don't even know. We don't even know in many cases there. So let me read just a little bit more. There's a couple more paragraphs regarding dark matter, and this is Lovecraftian Science, all right, .wordpress.com. So the reluctant consideration of dark matter originates with trying to explain why galaxies in the Coma cluster move substantially faster than they should under Newtonian gravity. Specifically, based on the observed rates of movement, the galaxies should fly apart and the cluster should dissolve, again, based on Newtonian physics. Since they don't, something else must be holding the cluster together. Currently, the leading hypothesis for this observation is that presence of dark matter. Dark energy is thought of as an anti-gravity field which is driving the galaxies apart. In addition, dark matter and dark energy combined account for 96% of the mass energy density of the universe. Our normal baryonic matter only accounts for 4% of the total mass density in the universe. Thus, while as humans we have difficult time measuring or imagining what dark matter and dark energy are, the elder things with senses beyond our 5 may be able to recognize, quantify, and utilize these dark forms of mass energy. And so, of course, the elder things would be those Call of Cthulhu type entities, right? Those actual godlike aliens, you know, from the primordial multiverse even. So, I mean, this is, like I said, kind of like I speculated in the beginning of the show here. is that I guess it's possible that this energy is out there and can be used kind of like I suggested with stargates or things like this. And maybe it's like like an expressway through the galactic areas where they have these big masses of dark energy, dark matter. I have no idea, but it sounds good to me. Especially when you have tentacles and aliens and squid-looking things. They're supposed to be gigantic. Lovecraft is amazing. What do you think about all that?
I think that with the expanding universes and stuff like that, maybe it's like the yin and the yang, like the universe wants to get away from itself just because, the sun are fleeing, but the dark matter wants to stay together. And maybe that's what's helping it. The ones that are going faster have less or more. I mean, I don't, I haven't read the papers, but you understand where I'm going with that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, I think that's exactly where we're going with this article too. Is that we don't know the answers here, but check this out. This is the final paragraph of this fantastic article here, and it says this, which I'm going to read this. So maybe the elder things utilize dark matter as a sort of fuel, powering their interstellar sails, possibly wings. And dark energy is a form of biological anti-gravity drive that propels them through the cosmos. However, even with such exotic forms of matter and energy, it is doubtful that the elder things could travel faster than the speed of light. While certain factions of the elder things are known to utilize interdimensional travel, as cited in the dreams of the Witch House, it appears that the majority of them travel through interstellar space. Since the elder things seem to be essentially immortal, largely through their asexuality, and have an extremely tough yet flexible outer skin, it is more than likely that the majority of their time is spent passively drifting in space in an inactive cryptobiotic state. So there we go. That's straight from this Lovecraftian article, which again is fantastic. Anything Lovecraft to me is good, beyond good. Very, very, very good, let's say. But yeah, so I don't know. I think that's a good way to look at this, maybe as possibly, right? I'm going to give it.
It's the gas.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like
it's the gas. Now we know why they got the CERN collider up and running, and we're spending all the billions and trillions and who God knows how much money on it. Because we want to get just a fuzz of that gas so we can turn on that stuff that's in the other category in the UFO report.
Yeah, other category, right? Exactly. Pretty good stuff. John here says on Facebook, we are all going to laugh when the Great Enlightenment happens, and we find out that we are considered dark matter and dark energy. We're just the construction cones and construction zones of the universe, and all of it was just shitty traffic cosmically. Yeah, with the Cthulhu floating through space. I don't know. Richard says solar wind. Mr. Mission Control says cryptobiosis. Yes. So yeah, I mean, maybe we're onto something here. Maybe we're not. But I don't know. I kind of like the idea of it being some sort of fuel or light sail type technology that we'll never really grasp in our lifetime. But well, actually no, because wasn't Richard Dolan talking about antimatter propulsion last night, right? So hell, I don't know, man. I don't know.
If we can figure out how to fold it, space and time, to get through. I mean, we could probably, think about like the Stargate show. The first time we need a group of guys to go and jump through it. Well, you just jumped into completely different universe or something. We probably wouldn't know about it. That would probably have to happen back in like the 50s or something before we get to see it. If it happened today, great grandkids might see it. They're not going to let us be running over there and trading and, hey, go to this place and have your vacation and stuff. I don't see traveling physically through space, as ever being possible. It's too far. If to go that fast, you're bending time anyway. Einstein says, if, you're never going to make it back. You're going to have to be there forever and ever. Like you said, the Interstellar movie, the guy went and did it and everything else like that. The one planet, they were there for 7 minutes and he aged however many hundreds or, years, They had to keep track of that stuff when they landed on the planets. They knew they weren't coming back, you know. It's like the guys that are going to Mars. You're not coming back, you know. There's no way you're coming back. And if you do come back, you're going to die shortly after you get here just because.
Yeah,
well, so we know that.
Yeah, so I think, you know, that's the Newtonian physics, right? Is that you know, Einstein's relativity is that, you know, mass increases as the faster you go, and right, and so at some point you're kind of time traveling, you're slowing everything down. You know, with the interstellar gargantuan and that whole black hole. If you guys haven't seen that movie, I highly suggest it. Do check it out. Interstellar. That was an amazing movie. Great for the whole family. Good stuff. What's up, Night Stalker? This is Jay. Jay from New York is the caller. And we're still talking about this. We're talking about this Newtonian physics, how it maybe does or does not match with the dark matter and the dark energy. And then now somehow we got down this rabbit hole of these elder things utilizing this dark energy and dark matter as some sort of fuel, possibly powering their interstellar sail and travel and these sorts of things. And of course, that's from the Lovecraftian fictional world. So who the hell knows, man? This is exactly where we're at, and I have no answers, per usual, right? Nobody's shocked that I don't have any answers, but I am pleased that a lot of the things that we go through, there are a lot of fantastic theories, and not just that. Like it surprises me that some of these theories come from, you know, actual scientists. That kind of makes you wonder, right? Like, who's out there doing science and who's out there doing science fiction theater? Who the hell knows? I don't know, man. You ever read Lovecraft at all?
No, it actually is the first I've ever heard about it, on honesty. I'm old, you know. No, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, Lovecraft is old too. Call of Cthulhu. If you got some time and you've read you know, the Fahrenheit 451 and you've read 1984 and, you know, you've done Brave New World and all that stuff, do some Lovecraft, man. When I read the guy's writing, it gives me the chills, literally. Like the way the guy wrote, he just had this way of describing things that seemed cosmic. You know what I mean? Like you could kind of get the chill of space just by reading words on a paper. It was like that, and he wasn't even talking about space. You know what I mean? Like he's that good. There's a few writers out there where I can actually read passages, and it literally just makes me shake. You know, like not like scared in the corner shaking, but like literally makes the hair stand up on my neck type of thing. And he's one of them. He's definitely one of the few where I read it and just go, holy crap. And he was not even famous in his time. His stuff didn't even really catch until after he died, unfortunately. So yeah, Call of Cthulhu. If you haven't read it, it's amazing stuff. It's a great way to start his entire fictional world there. But so basically,
Call of what?
Call of Cthulhu. 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 And yeah, so that's what we're talking about. That's the Lovecraftian fictional world here. And so the great old ones are basically these the gods, basically the gods of the Big Bang, right? So like the entities that were alive before, that were actually like you know, meat puppets like us to worship them, or you know, even alien species or anything. Like they're not just you know, primordial gods for us. Also for every species out there that ever kind of generated themselves in this universe. So it's and you know, they're described as being so grotesque and so enormous and massive that the mere sight of Cthulhu, it was said to drive a man insane, just because of all the weirdness, how grotesquely large, and tentacles in places they shouldn't be, and eyeballs on the ends of tentacles, and just weird shit like that. Definitely good stuff. Good night, Penny.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Definitely good stuff. What else? Who else is out there reading some chat? Good night, Penny. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Let's see. Let's see. Did you guys like? Anybody seen that Lovecraft? Or no, what was the one on HBO? Lovecraft something. I didn't like it. I don't know. Night Stalker says Lovecraft season is what I've been calling what's about to happen in pop culture. Oh, they're about to make a ton of Lovecraft movies. Hopefully, but what was that one on HBO? It just aired. I don't know if you saw this. It was maybe last year. It was called Lovecraft Country, and I watched a few episodes, and I just couldn't dig it. I couldn't get into it. It was weird shit, but I just couldn't like, I don't know. Everything's got to have slavery in it, right? And so it's like they like racialized Lovecraft. It's just like, fuck. Like, why? I just don't understand. You know. Anyway, whatever. Like, I was just a little bit like, what? But anyway, all right. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. I see you guys. Did you dig it? Okay. Night Stalker says I dug the show, Lovecraft Country. It was a little bit weird for me. It was a little bit weird. I think I was a little pissed off at the politics because they were, you know, doing a little bit of political stuff, and that's what pissed me off about it. Let's see. Babo, what's up? Looking at the chat. Let's see. Don't miss Friday and tonight with Mr. Underbelly. So Curious Bunny is going to be doing with the Underbelly 2.0. So good stuff. Let's see. Yeah, feel better, Penny. Thanks for hanging out with us. I know you guys in the UK stay up late for us, and I appreciate that a lot. Let's see. What else? Reading the chat, hanging out. I don't know. Yeah, Lovecraft. Definitely check out Lovecraft, man. I've only read Cthulhu, but there's more. There's more that he's written, short stories like Nyarlathotep and some other things, the Crawling Chaos, and it's amazing. There's some amazing short stories too. Let's see. John says, have you ever noticed we always try take out things out to be way more complicated than they are? Thanks, Vicky. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, John says I bought Call of Cthulhu because you recommended it. Yeah, we did a Cthulhu show, didn't we? Where we did the entire Nyarlathotep story. But yeah. So I don't know. Sorry, Jay, to cut you off there. I don't know. Thoughts on it?
No, that's all right. I'm listening because I'm learning something new. You know, and it sounds unbelievably interesting to me. I'm kind of glad there's an HBO one on it because when we're done here, I'll probably put that on and get a snooze. You know.
Yeah, it's called Lovecraft.
Maybe
Country.
I'll watch them or.
Yeah, Lovecraft Country. There's some weird shit in that.
I am disappointed that it's one of the things that I noticed about television, especially within the last 2 years, is that it's become very politicized on every end of the spectrum. You know, whether it be the slavery or the whatever, the politics that are involved in it. It's almost like they're throwing it in there, and it's not even actually part of the story. You know, they just figure it's their way to get their politics into science fiction.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't so over the top that it was like off-putting. It's just, I think that I'm just so sick of seeing it everywhere that they put it in that, and it's like, it's literally a show about primordial aliens. Like, that's what the show's about. But then we're talking about Jim Crow and stuff like that in the show, and it's like, it seems like an odd fit, like it was kind of shoehorned into there. I mean, fine, it existed and it was all terrible and all that stuff, but I mean, it just doesn't have to be in every damn show. Whiskey Metal Dog. Yeah, so Night Stalker says, yeah, the political part was definitely the worst part of the show, but I love the weirdness. Yeah, there was some weird shit with some people like kind of crawling out of their skin and becoming other people and things like this. It was it is, I did like some of the effects and stuff on in the show, but I don't know. Maybe I should go back and now that I know what to expect with the politics, maybe I should go back and watch it. Maybe it's a better representation. How when you first take a drink of something, you're like, this has bad taste, but then you come back maybe 6 months later knowing what to expect, and then you're like, oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah, the first sip of whiskey wasn't good.
Yeah, exactly.
You did it anyway because all the other kids were doing it.
I actually didn't have my first drink till I was 30, but I know what you mean.
Really?
Yeah, for real. I was one of those guys. Yeah, see, come on, man. Not everybody starts drinking when you're 12.
Well, I wasn't 12. I was probably 16, 17. You'd bite a six-pack and go out there and hang out and look at the stars and build a campfire and,
I'm just saying.
Back of somebody's farmland. But, yeah. Wow, 30. That's... Wow.
Yeah. I'm not looking for any kudos or anything. That's the facts. It's the truth. So yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I should go back and watch that. There was some weird stuff in it, but I did get, I think maybe 4 episodes in or 5. I think maybe it was only 8 or 10 or something. I don't know. Anyway, go check it out, guys. Lovecraft Country. If you don't know, we're talking about Call of Cthulhu in this bit. There's some really, really sweet Lovecraft stuff. And actually, go to where I actually have listened. So they have audiobooks because some of the Lovecraft actually falls into the public domain now. So you can go to LibriVox, LibriVox. LibriVox, and so there's all kinds of really, really fantastic old shit there. If you guys like to listen to old stories and don't like to read them yourselves or buy the books, they're free on there, like actual audiobooks, just people like me and you reading these stories and putting them up as MP3 files. So LibriVox, LibriVox, and we're probably going to do some. I've been going through that catalog again, kind of looking at some of the old mythologies and things, and we're going to try and weave some of that stuff into some of the shows, like we've done in the past, actually. So it's all public domain stuff, so you don't have to copyright or pay anybody or any of that shit. You can just play it on a show like this, and it's pretty sweet. So anyway, do check that out. I don't know, as we kind of get down to this interesting end of this weird Dark Matter show. Any final thoughts, Jay? We got a few minutes left here.
I just, with what you were telling me about this Lovecraft, now I'm like looking at all the things that people are putting in the chat and stuff about it, and it's like, wow, I can't believe I've missed that, because we were into the whole science fiction kind of stuff when we were kids growing up, passing books back and forth to each other. And first time hearing about it, I even got HBO Plus. It's one of the things that I watch all the time. I'm surprised that if they had a new movie out, it didn't come across my queue,
Yeah, check it out. Lovecraft Country. And it's weird, man. It's weird. It's like it's aliens, and it's like when something is so far past alien, like a generic alien, it's like that. It's not like, oh shit, it's aliens. It's like, oh shit, what is that? It's like
the mother of all aliens.
Exactly. It's like that type of stuff. So it's pretty cool. Like some of the effects they did in that was like pretty like jarring and kind of gross in a good way. But yeah, again, maybe the second time I'll try and get through it again. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm not so sure about the Dark Matter. We were supposed to really kind of talk about aliens tonight in the form of Dark Matter, but I think that maybe you can get through a show without really going to aliens. Maybe looking at some other stuff. Let's see. What else? Let's see. Yeah. Do guys, I did a show on Lovecraft a while back, actually, where we did play some of that LibriVox recordings. We played the entire Nyarlathotep, though it's a short story, and it was again, like I said, there's some writers that just kind of give you the chills, and he's definitely one of them. So what did you think? So, you said out there, I think John said that I bought Call of Cthulhu on my recommendation. What did you think? John says, I'm not positive, but wasn't Lovecraft a member of the Golden Dawn? I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know enough about him in particular. I do know he was like brilliant and poor and ended up dying without anybody ever recognizing his skills, unfortunately. But what did you think? What did you guys think about Cthulhu? Because I did do a show on it about a year and a half ago where we talked specifically about that mythology. And so what did you think, John, in particular, with the Cthulhu stuff? Pretty good stuff. Let's see. What else? Let's see. Looking to finish this up. Yeah, I don't know. Go check out some Lovecraft, guys. Call of Cthulhu is the first one, the most well-known one, but there's a ton more. There's a ton of short stories and some really good shit. I don't know, Jay. Let's wrap this up, brother. Maybe.
All right, I got a quote from you.
Oh, sweet.
Or for you.
All right, let's do it. I'm gonna play some music. You do it. Do your thing.
I was just looking at how when we started talking about the Dark Matter, it all kept me bouncing back in my head about the Time Bandits, an 80s movie, but this is one of the things that one of the Time Bandits says to some little kid they pick up along the way. You see, to be quite frank, Kevin, the fabric of the universe is far from perfect. It was a bit of a botched job, you see. We only had 7 days to make it, and this is where it comes in. This is only a map of all the holes. Well, why repair them? Why not use them to get stinking rich? It's just, I don't know, just going back to, we know crap that we're not allowed to know. And these other guys are getting stinking rich. Those guys that are working on the CERN Collider, man, they're not making peanuts. Even if you're just a guy tying rebar, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Up there on the top of the scale, So, there's people getting stinking rich out there off of the stuff that we think about all the time, And they just won't even tell us about it. It'd be a lot more fun if we had some details,
Yeah, like actual, what the elites know.
Half, 10%, one.
Exactly. Yeah, no chance. All right, guys, you know
When's
the drill.
Dodge going up?
Exactly. You guys know the drill. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. We may have some changes coming here. I do not know entirely yet. I'll keep you posted. If you have not joined the Discord, join the Discord, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link right on top, and you will be the first to know. That's where all the news about the show goes. And thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for all the great calls tonight. Thanks for all the great chat. And we're about done. We're about done with this. Tomorrow we'll be back at 7 p.m. to do our thing, and then Friday the news show will be 3 p.m. And that's it. That's the deal. Lovecraft, Dark Matter, and you, and Troubled Minds, and Jay and Mike. Thanks again, Jay. Thanks for hopping in and saving me. And everybody else, thanks for all the great chat and all the great calls. And you know how this ends. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thanks for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night.
Good night, Mike.
Thanks, Jay. You too, man.